All right, well, good evening, folks, and welcome inside the K. Yeager Coliseum. This is the first time we have been in this building for quite a while, folks. Not since Saturday, March 25th, have the Wildcats played a game in this building, which I'm sure is a breath of fresh air, despite the fact they had a better road season in the regular season, at least, than they did at home. It's still always a welcome sight to return to the friendly confines of your own rink. The Wildcats need to win tonight to stay alive. They've got their backs up against the wall, and folks, they have got their work cut out for them, not just in this series, but in this game. As it stands right now, the Brahmas have a lot to play for themselves. They do not want to have to come back here tomorrow night, folks. They want to wrap this puppy up and get going and get ready to take on the Corpus Christi Ice Rays in round number 2. The Cats will do all in their power tonight to prevent that from happening, though through 2 games played in this series so far, even though the Brahmas have outscored the Cats 10-3, there seems to really be only one common denominator as to why Lone Star has a 2-0 series lead. Simply put, mistakes. Let's break down how all 10 of the Brahmas' goals have been scored thus far. 2 were empty nets. 1 was off of an extremely fluky turnover from Jared Dempsey, which completely turned the tide and the momentum of game number 1. 3 came on power plays, which stemmed from silly and unnecessary penalties. 3 more resulted immediately after a face-off loss in the defensive zone, and 1 came off a turnover right in the slot to Pete Kessel. The one thing all these goals have in common is that they're a direct result of Wildcats' mistakes. Lone Star very rarely makes mistakes, but the Cats have skated with the Brahmas. They've been outshot, but not to the extent where they can't win these games if they have decent goaltending and convert on a solid amount of their chances. The one time they beat the Brahmas during the regular season, they were outshot 42-26, but won the game 5-4 because they came through on their opportunities and had strong goaltending throughout, especially in the clutch moments. The keys to a Wildcats victory tonight are limiting needless penalties, being competitive on faceoffs, and capitalizing on their scoring chances. Whether they do these things tonight may determine if we ever see another hockey game in this building. This is a David and Goliath matchup in the truest sense of the word, folks. Lone Star leads 2-0 in this series. They're favorites to win the championship this year. They've beaten the Cats on 10 straight occasions. But tonight is not a test of math or probability. Tonight is the ultimate test of resolve and determination. Being the favorites in hockey is a cumbersome burden. In a game where willpower so considerably drives results, the underdogs, in a way, have an advantage. Last night, the Nashville Predators swept the conference-leading perennial powerhouse Chicago Blackhawks. Nothing need be said after that, really. They pulled off a feat which no one in their right mind would have predicted. Anything can happen tonight and this weekend, folks. We'll be back in just a few short moments to bring you your starting lineups brought to you by Pelicans and the opening face-off coming your way next. And boy, oh boy, if that isn't the loudest I've heard this place, I don't know what is. What the fans were reacting to here, folks, was a brand new intro video we put up for the playoffs. Really big fan of it. Obviously, I did it myself, but if you'd get the chance, go ahead and watch on our Facebook page. It was just posted there moments ago. We showed it to the guys just before they came out onto the ice here just a few minutes ago, and they are absolutely pumped up, as are the fans here at the KYC. Do yourself a favor, folks, and if you get the chance to watch it, do so. It's very moving and inspiring, and we hope it can get the job done for the Wildcats tonight, who absolutely have their backs up against the wall, which is the first time that's really happened since the championship game back on May 15th of 2016 in the Robertson Cup Championship against the Fairbanks Dice Dogs. Not too different of a situation. Obviously, they've got to win 3 in a row. That was not the case 11 months ago, rather. But what is pretty similar is the level of adversity they're going up against. Fairbanks, the best team in the league last year. Lone Star, very arguably the best team in the league this year. The Cats are going to be in for a dogfight. If they win tonight, it will continue for another game plus. The starting lineup's being announced right now by Charles Campbell, the Wildcats' longtime public address announcer who's been here since the very beginning. He and Crazy Cat, who will be an honorary puck dropper tonight, are the only two members of this organization who've been here since the very beginning. Since the days of the Wichita Falls Rustlers 13 years ago, Charles Campbell has been on that mic. The starting lineups are as follows. All three forward veterans, fittingly so, will get the nod to start tonight up front. Nick Rosa, Ryan Burnett, Alexi Poikala. On defense, co-captain Seamus Donahue, and another veteran, Demantis Cyphus. The guy in between the pipes, we've not seen him at all in this series, but we will see him tonight. Evan Moyes, the future Ohio State Buckeye, who's not played a whole lot versus the Lone Star Brahmas this season, but has boasted solid numbers for the Wildcats. We dubbed him the anchor that kept the Wildcats afloat for the first several months of the 2016-17 season. He has been just that, and he gets a chance to perhaps play the last game in Wildcats history. But before that, we await the singing of our country's national anthem by Big John Wilson. Everybody stand by. We'll be back in just a flash. For the Lone Star Brahmas starting tonight, well, we'll start in net. Their goaltender, Max Praza, committed to Boston University, has only allowed 3 goals in this series so far. He has been an absolute rock for Dan Wildfong, who hopes he will continue to be so in a very important game number 3. Julian Biondo, Austin O'Rourke, with Aiden Spellacy centering the two of them. Will start tonight up front for the Lone Star Brahmas. On defense will be their captain, John Zimmerman, who will take part in the ceremonial puck drop here shortly. Alongside him will be the Slovak defenseman, Jakub Malisko. Puck drop at center ice. This young man is representing Qdoba, who's sponsored our ceremonial puck drop for the last number of years. Big shout out to him. Following him, a very special guest, and I'm sure there'll be a big, healthy round of applause for her. Unless there was a change of plans I wasn't notified about. It looks like that's the case. No Crazy Cat, and that's very disappointing. She was supposed to be dropping the puck tonight. Nobody told me, but she's not going to be, apparently. Just earlier today, I was told Crazy Cat would be dropping the puck, which definitely would have been a morale booster for both the fans and the players down there. Crazy Cat, like we mentioned, the only one outside of our PA announcer, Charles Campbell, who's been here since the very beginning. But she is in the building. Guess she just didn't want to take anything away from the fact that this moment might be the last ever opening face-off in this building. Nick Rosa wins it cleanly, and we're underway here in game number 3. The Lone Star Brahmas leading the series 2-0. The Wildcats must win this game to avoid elimination. Aiden Spellacy chips the puck into the right corner. It is pursued by Austin O'Rourke. Gave it away to Demantis Cyphus. Wheels it around, can't clear it. Malisko's long shot stopped by Moyes off the deflection, and the second shot is bulleted wide of the net and out of play by Julian Biondo. And what a game he had in game number 2. A 2-point performance, a very important goal by Julian Biondo to get the Brahmas rolling. He opened the scoring and has taken place, I've noticed, in both of the last 2 opening face-offs. In game number 2 and game number 3, he was the choice to set the tone for Dan Wildfong. And Wildfong isn't somebody who selects his starting lineups willy-nilly, folks. He's got a very rigid system as to how he chooses his starters. He waits until warm-ups have started. He judges the players based on how they look in warm-ups, and then he decides who's going to start. The Brahmas caught offside on that zone entry. On behalf of the Wildcats, I'd like to officially congratulate the Corpus Christi Ice Rays for advancing to the South Division Finals for the first time in their history as a junior franchise. They swept the Shreveport Mudbugs on Wednesday night. So congratulations to Corpus Christi. And we all knew they'd be a different team this year under the tutelage of Brad Flynn. More of an offensive-minded coach than John Buchanan was. We saw the Ice Rays making a lot more creative plays this season than they did last. Very big improvement from last season to this. And they've certainly earned the right to compete in the South Division Finals against either one of these strong teams, depending on who wins. Evano crunched up by Carballo. Walker will try the stuff attempt from the side of the goal, denied by the right pad of Max Prodzik. Both goaltenders have now been tested and have passed. Moyes was reluctant to play it. He wanted to let it go far enough for icing, but it was on net, so he couldn't. Loof doubling back into his own zone. DDD pass for Alex Stoley. Up the right side, Rupsov gives one horizontally across the ice, and it's tipped into Wildcats territory, gunned down by Justin Adamo. Damo's closed off by Del Ponte, who did not play in game number 2. And Moyes is going to look at that puck at the side of the crease and hang on to it. Anton Rupsov playing in his first game of these playoffs. Bit of a surprising feat. He was such a skilled player during the regular season, but I suppose that doesn't always equate to the postseason. He is very young, 1999 birth year, which is extremely rare for the Lone Star Brahmas. And he's getting his first taste of playoff hockey in the NAHL, making his postseason debut tonight, number 91 in black. Del Ponte slams one off the half wall. Loof able to keep it in the zone. Orgal couldn't tiptoe past Julian Adamo, who steals it and backhands one to the left point. It's Loof. Long wrist shot through traffic, stopped by Moyes. What a save. There was traffic, a lot of it, in front of Evan Moyes, folks. And he didn't give up much of a rebound at all. So, Phil, it's fitting to inform you folks tuned in on Hockey TV. Our cameraman, Mike Trebbing, cannot be here tonight. He had a prior engagement. Wasn't sure when game 1 or game 3 would be. Wasn't set in stone on the schedule at the time. So he and his family are elsewhere. The Brahmas have just iced the puck. So we've got Zach Heiser right now, one of the healthy scratches for tonight's game, operating the camera. So a big shout out to Zach for helping us out in a really tight spot. We didn't really have anyone else to man the fast hockey camera. So folks, anyone who has any feedback, because Mike's not here, go ahead and tweet or text me. I got a text just now from one of my buddies. I'll be sure to let Zach know, teach him a few tricks here and there. Unfortunately, didn't have a whole lot of time to run him through the basics before this game started. But I will let him know anything that we can do to improve your broadcast experience. We're here for you. Let us know at WF Wildcats, our Twitter handle. Seamus Donahue gives it to Demantis Cypus in his own zone. Gets the return pass as the Wildcats co-captain. Splits the ice with a good pass, deflected in the offensive zone. Cabinia is checked, and he bumped into Tilly on the way down, causing both of them to fall. Poikula starting the forecheck. Kamer gets the pass. Cuts out to center. Banks one past the Wildcats defense. In behind the net, Moyes gets his big goal stick on it. Jonathan Waring, hoping he's not playing in his last junior hockey game of his life. Up to Nick Rosa, who's in the exact same boat. Down the right wing side. Slides one slowly across the blue line. Kamer gets the pass on the right wing side in front of his own bench in the neutral zone. Up to Loof. Loves to lead the rush, and he does so here. Drops it to the late man. It's Glover. Puts it back behind the net. Karams off the back of it. Wyatt Matthews going in after it in the right corner. Alexei Poikula's got it. 3 minutes and 15 seconds have gone by without a score here at the KYC. 2-0. Your shots in favor of Lone Star. Waring slams one around. Out, flex off the skates of Rosa. Held in the zone. Long flipper goes just wide of the glove side of Evan Moyes. Jonathan Waring will pick it up. Tries to clear. Bounces high off the stick of Kelly and lands flat on the ice. Rosa trying to pedal one out of the zone, and he does. Effective clear by the Wildcats co-captain. Only Waring able to complete that line change, and the Brahmas look to keep the pressure on while they complete theirs. Rolling puck works its way to Wyatt Matthews, who slaps it off the right half boards. Tipped further there by Orgel. Brahmas play a little catch in their own zone. Kelly gets the pass in the neutral zone. He is hit by an aggressive Del Ponte. Skate to stick play by Zimmerman to keep the puck from advancing any further, but his clearing attempt is blocked down by C.J. Walker. Left corner, puts it behind the net, touch pass, hoping for Ripley. Went all the way through and back past Del Ponte and down. Kareem Del Ponte back in his own zone to reset. 15:44 to go in period 1, still scoreless in game number 3. It's the first home game the Wildcats are playing in nearly a month since March 25th against Shreveport. A game where they had a lead, led 4-3, and had it slip away from them. 5-4 was the final score in that one against the Shreveport Mudbugs, who have just been eliminated earlier this week. Only 3 South Division candidates remain. One of them guaranteed to play in the South Division Finals, Corpus Christi. The other to be determined perhaps tonight, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps Monday. Puck flips over Donahue's stick. Spellacy will gun it down in the right corner. Chips it into the other corner. It's going to be taken now by Marabella, who finally picks it up and turns out to the left point. That's Biondo, rather, and wheels it back in behind the net. Right point, drive by Evano, blocked by Biondo inadvertently in front of the Wildcats' goal. Regula behind his net, Spellacy pressuring him very closely. The Wildcats have had hardly any offensive zone time in the first 5.5 minutes here. Spellacy loses the puck as it rolls out to Skinner. Banks it up past the right point. Evano can't hold it in the zone. Hanawal will bank it past him. Evano prevents him from going any further. Jack Zielinski decides better of that breakout. Tilley's on the other side of the net. Evano. Cabini is going to hold in that clearing attempt. Send one into the opposite corner, now occupied by Tilley. Rolls it out in the direction of Fees, who's worked up by Drake Glover. Zielinski bounces one along the dasher there. Cabinia goes in fighting for it, but the Brahmas emerge with possession of the puck on a 2-on-2 developing. It's Jack Zielinski down the left wing. Kamer right behind him, gets the drop pass, tries to curl and drag his way past Tilley. Stuff attempt knocked out of there by Tilley. Now it comes Duluth. D-to-D pass over to the left side. Glover is there, long wrist shot, just off target. Fees. Up gets it as far as the red line. Stoley will swat it back in immediately. 6.5 minutes into this game, no score. Wyatt Matthews' pass is broken up by the forecheck of Troy York, a Brahmas veteran and Dallas native. Wyatt on the second effort hoists the puck high into the air and it lands in the neutral zone. The Brahmas will reset. Stoley to Loof. Right up the middle with a good pass. York couldn't control. Wyatt Matthews spun it back out to center and the Brahmas will try again. Loof to Stanley. Stanley tips it in behind the Wildcats' goal line. Orgel reverses one to Del Ponte. Del Ponte up towards Poikala. Can he clear? No. His fellow Scandinavian Loof able to hold it in the zone. Rims it around out towards that left half board. Carson Kelly's shot ricochets off a skate, off the backboard ultimately, and Moyes is able to hang on to it. Lots of games going on tonight and plenty of elimination games as well. Aston and Wilkes-Barre, Johnstown in New Jersey, Cooley hosting Janesville, Minnesota and Brookings, Minot in Aberdeen, and the Magicians way out in Fairbanks tonight. 6 other NAHL games taking place here this evening. And for those of you folks tuning in who were fans of the team last year, John LaFontaine's Muskegon Lumberjacks are facing elimination as well. They're taking on Jeff Baum and the Dubuque Fighting Saints. If you have the opportunity to switch back and forth between games, by all means do it if you're a Hockey TV subscriber. Brahmas are onside here. Adamo's one-handed shot is jabbed away by the right pad, perhaps the stick of Evan Moyes. Boy, Adamo, 6'6". He can make all kinds of moves like that happen where others just simply cannot because he's that much bigger than everybody. Looked like Burnett had his stick wrapped up in Zielinski. The Brahmas emerge and escape out of their own zone. Evano drills one around the boards, takes a crazy bounce, nearly caromed in front of the net, but it just bounced off the side of it. That one went off of a partition there, took a very strange bounce. Donahue loses his helmet after that hit, leaves it on the ice, goes to the bench for a line change. Waring replaces him, and fortunately the Cats catch a break because the Brahmas just iced the puck. And a helmetless Donahue will be given his helmet back by the referee tonight, Steve Saylor. So the faceoff's going to come back into the Brahmas zone. It'll be to the left of Max Prozik. CJ Walker lines up to take it against Aiden Spellacy. Brahmas with a few exhausted players, but they win the faceoff and march it right back out of their zone. Nice jab by Biondo, could get in. Diving poke check made by Demantis Sipis, who lunged out. Glover, while falling, trying to collect that puck. Knocked off of it by Donahue. Donahue rolls it back to Sipis. Angles one off the boards. Carballo drops it back to CJ Walker. Sipis gets it again deep in his own zone. Starts motoring out to center from the red line. Drills one into the zone. Goes around out towards the left side. Nobody occupying the left point for the Wildcats in the midst of that change. Waring back in his own end now. 9 minutes into this first period, still scoreless, and the Wildcats still shotless. Waring's pass goes right off of a Lone Star stick and deflects out of play, courtesy of Austin Kamer. The last home playoff game the Wildcats had in this building, way back in April of 2016, April 30th against the Topeka Roadrunners. Game number 2, a game which the Cats very easily could have lost, but scored an extremely fortunate goal on Yuho Niku, a very soft goal given up by a goaltender who was otherwise stellar in that series. And the Cats, that ended up being the game winner, and the Cats would take the, I believe it was a 2-1 or a 3-2 game. Will end up sweeping the Topeka Roadrunners. Actually swept their way all the way to the championship game. Waring's slap shot deflects off of Brahma and out towards the right half boards, and Kamer will bank one out towards Kessel. Waring beats him to it. Waring spins away from Kessel. Gains his way out towards his own blue line. Hanawal finishes his check on Kessel. Now here comes Skinner on the left wing side. Firing, patted away by Max Prozik. There's the first shot of game number 3 for the Wildcats. Belongs to Jeff Skinner. York harassing Kareem Del Ponte. Puck pops hotly out into the slot. 4 Wildcats really in the same vicinity. Stanley goes working in for it with Ryan Orgel, who is triumphant in that battle for possession. Cabinia down the right wing side, closed off by Molisco, who will prevent Cabinia from advancing. Kelly gets it to Zimmerman. Cabinia harassing Zimmerman, stymieing him, not letting him exit his own zone. The Wildcats with a good forecheck hold it. Orgel's turnaround shot from the blue line gets blocked. Fees kicks it on net. Project's going to have to hang on. Decent pressure by the Wildcats, but no real good shots or scoring chances, as Cabinia gets into the first real little scrap of this game. There's a penalty box open, but I don't think anyone's going. Looks like we're going to head to our first period media timeout. We've got 9.5 minutes remaining in period number 1 here at game number 3. The Wildcats facing elimination, hoping to prolong their season at least one more day. You're listening to Wildcats Hockey on the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Alex Von Coydel with you as always. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. Hope you're having a great Friday night. We're going to step aside real quick. Be right back.
Thanks. Keep it posted. Text me and Megan. I'll send you a message. Just listen. I think it's like broadcast.
All right, so we're back. 9:32 to go in period 1, still scoreless. Shots favoring the Brahmas right now, 3-2. Looks like hopefully probably a couple more than that should have been registered on both sides. So Stanley able to work his one out, or one just past his own blue line. Carson Kelly able to pick it up now along the near half boards in the Wildcat zone. Stanley able to chip one out to the left point. Zielinski was open. He tapped it wide of Rupsov. Curls his way behind the net with it. Rupsov sets up and open to Evano. Over to the left point. Zielinski's drive fought off by Moyes. Rebound pops out to Orgel. He's harassed by Rupsov. Cats working to get this puck out of the zone. They'll be able to as Kevin Fees banks one past Evano in the direction of Cabinia, who guns it down, nullifies the potential icing. Evano overskates it. Cabinia throws it out towards the front. Jabbed out of there by the stick of Rupsov. Nice defensive play by the 99. And Fees and Kelly got into a little entanglement down there. Fees is definitely going to go. Perhaps both of them. I don't think it will be. I think it'll just be Kevin Fees to the box. I think Fees might want to have a go at Carson Kelly, which might be a lost cause. Carson Kelly leading the Brahmas in scoring this season with 50 points. One of the last guys on that team who'd be willing to drop the mitts. So Isaac Cabinia was actually assessed the penalty, even though it was Fees who I saw standing over Carson Kelly down there, but it'll be Cabinia. Must have been something I didn't see, but the Brahmas will go to their first power play of this game. It's been very strong in this series. They've scored 3 times in just 2 games on the man advantage. Zimmerman, deep slot, Malisko, tapped it over to Kessel. One-timer goes well wide. It was off speed. Good kick by Malisko to hold in the zone, but not for long. Burnett will scoop it up and slam it down the ice. Brodzic out of his net. He's going to handle it. Zimmerman starts it up the middle. York's pass outside the reach of Kamer. Kessel with a nice little reception, but he was offside. So we get a whistle. Brahmas take the neutral zone face-off win. Evano up for Kelly. Gains the zone, drops it to Kessel, back to the point. Evano over to Loof. Nice movement by the Brahmas, right circle. Loof with a shot, stopped by Moyes. What a save. More importantly, no rebound. I think Loof tried to go low blocker side, which is a very difficult save for just about any goaltender, let alone facing a shooter like Simon Loof, who can really bring it. Moyes out on top of the blue paint aggressively to make that save. And the future Buckeye looking stellar in the early going. 8 minutes to go in period 1. Still no score. Loof, again, another hold to the right point. Scoots his way down the right half boards. Gives it back to his buddy Hunter Stanley. He was just there. Over to the left circle, a drive fought off by Moyes. The rebound was a dangerous one, and Stanley just couldn't do much with it. Rosa looked like he got hooked. Nothing to be called, and Burnett will chop it down. Brodzic to leave it for Blake Evano. 45 seconds to go on the Brahmas' first power play of this game. Wildcats penalty kills presented by Parkway Grill. Glover's got to circle back into his own territory with Poikala pursuing him. Evano. Kamer. Brahmas' alternate captain saucers one out towards Zimmerman. Takes a big hit by Sipus. Buys Poikala enough time to clear it down once more. Time for one last Brahmas rush on their power play. Malisko gives it off to Kamer on the right wing side. Chops it towards the Wildcat zone. It's gloved down and cleared by Donahue. According to the linesman, Trent Williams, it went off the Wildcats bench, so it will stay in the Cats zone. Big shout out to all the families we've got of the players tuning in for tonight's game. Bill Ripley and the Ripleys, the Hannawalls, the Feeses, the Cabinias, and anyone else who's tuned in tonight for game number 3 of the South Division semifinals. Let us know. We'd love to give you a shout out before this game comes to its end. Cats winning the defensive zone faceoff, and it was important. Blake Ripley motors down the left side, gains some speed, and shoots. Stopped by Brodzic with the chest. Best save of the game for Brodzic so far, and it came with his team on the power play. Nice little burst of speed there by Blake Ripley. Slap pass up the middle of the ice. Austin O'Rourke trying to weave his way past Waring, who fought him off. Glaring attempt went over the referee, Saylor, and down the ice. Saylor just took a dive there, just flattened himself on the ice to avoid being hit by that clearing attempt. And had he not done that, he would have been hit by the puck, and the Wildcats would not have been guilty of icing. For some of the fans here, that would have been considered a win-win. Fans at the KYC here this year have made it clear their distaste for the officials. Puck is turned over. Moyes has to be alert with that glove. Makes a big save on David Marabella. He's been sharp, so that's good. But so are the Brahmas. So it seems. They definitely look sharp. They've definitely outchanced the Wildcats through the first 14 minutes of this game. 7 3-year shots in favor of Lone Star. Regula winning an important defensive zone faceoff. That was one of our keys to tonight's game, remember. And that's one area the Cats look to have improved on from game 2 to this one. Defensive zone faceoffs. You cannot lose them consistently to a team like the Brahmas. Skinner lobs one on net, gloved and snagged by Prodzik. If you do lose them, you have to at least compete. You can't give up and say, oh, well, we lost the faceoff. Any coach will tell you, folks, faceoffs are not just the duties of the centerman. It's all three forwards. If you're on the left wing or the right wing, you're a winger, and you see that the faceoff was lost, it's your responsibility to do all that you can to get the puck back in your possession, and if not, to at least block the shot that's likely to stem from it. 3 of the Wildcats' 10 goals they've allowed in this series have come immediately following defensive zone face-off losses. Had the Cats touched that, it would have been whistled for high stick, but here comes York on the right wing side. Right circle will shoot, stopped by Moyes, and somehow the puck was under his pad and it didn't enter the net. I'm not sure how that didn't happen. I think York tried to go 5-hole on Moyes, and he was able to slam shut the wickets and make the save, his 8th of this game. And we're still scoreless here at K. Yeager. Fans who are here supporting the Wildcats, hoping that there will be a game number 4. Glover will shoot right off of that faceoff. Moyes had to be alert. He made the stop. Honestly, folks, even if the Wildcats do advance past this round, there's a good chance they will not have any home games because of the Nighthawks and a number of other events that are taking place in the next number of weeks. Similar situation to what the Ice Rays are in. Lob pass for Kessel on his off wing. Starts it down the left side. Going on Orgal. Shoots. Moyes from a tough angle made the stop. Rebound out to Evano. Now it's Zielinski over in the deep slot. Wrist shot. Fought off by Moyes' blocker. Rolls out to Glover. Now to Kessel. Swatted away off his stick by Del Ponte. Cabinha can't clear, but Orgal can. Cabinha gives it over to Orgal. Right sideboard. Slams it just wide of the net on the left side of it from center. Evano to Zielinski in his own zone. And the Brahmas defenseman with a soft clear touches it up to Kessel. Kessel with a much harder clear, rims it around the wall. Burnett chips it up to Fees. Fees gets it to a fresh Rosa. Rosa nearly leveled by O'Rourke, but he dodged a 6'3" bullet just then. Prodzik gave the puck away and behind the net to Burnett. Rosa starts in the forecheck, cycles it down to Burnett now in the corner. Up to the top, Donahue with a one-timer, fought off by Prodzik. Rosa spins it in front, Poikala scores! A great cycle of the puck by the Wildcats along the left half boards. Seamus Donahue, no nonsense from the left point, just took a one-timer and forced Prodzik to make a save. Off the rebound, it bounced right to Nick Rosa, who was still behind the net in the near corner below the goal line. Great awareness, great pass from veteran to veteran. Rosa to Poikala. And he has opened the scoring for the Wildcats, who lead 1-0 with 4:34 to go in period 1. This is the first time in this series that the Wildcats have scored first. So the Cats are alive and well right now, and have got the adrenaline going after that last goal scored by Alexei Poikala. His first goal of the playoffs, and the Cats have their first lead of this series. Stanley misfires on the pass to Carson Kelly. No icing here. Wyatt's got it in his own zone. Chips it out to Blake Ripley. Ripley dropped it to C.J. Walker. Wildcats caught offside. Ripley had entered the zone a little bit too early. Walker still playing center on that line with Carballo and Ripley. Coach Nelson deciding not too long ago to split up that very consistently played line of Ripley, Walker, and Tilley, a line that had played together probably more consistently than any other line on the Wildcats all season long. Decided it better to switch things up with his team on a losing streak. That's very common. Remember, folks, the Cats have still not won a game in well over a month now as Ripley enters the zone and shoots. It was blocked by Blake Evano, and it goes out of play. The last time the Wildcats won a game was on March 10th against Corpus Christi in that 3-game homestand against the Ice Rays. The Wildcats took game number 2, games 1 and 2. By the way, they had won 6 of their last 7 at that point. But then from that point on, it's been nothing but L's in the win-loss column, unfortunately. Cats have dropped 12 straight if you count the 2 postseason losses to Lone Star, which is their longest in franchise history. But in just about every one of those games, they allowed the first goal. Tonight, we've got a new script. Face-off is won by Ripley. Waring scoots one in behind the net. Ripley is there. Walker pinned up to the wall. Carballo will pick it up, looking to cycle it up to Matthews. Instead goes over to Waring, the far point man, but he just miscued on that pass outside the reach of Waring's stick. Zielinski behind his net, shovels one past Evano out to Rupsov. With a chop, can't get it past Regula. Receives it and shoots it. Awkward save with the glove of Prodzik, but he settled it down and covers. 3 minutes remain in period 1. It's the Wildcats with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Alexei Poikala, assisted by Donahue and Rosa. Wasn't surprising in the slightest to see Josh Nelson start all of his veterans to try to set the tone. Face-off win by the Wildcats, and right off the draw, the shot from Skinner got blocked. Regula pins up Stoley. Hanawal goes into the corner digging for it, as is Glover. Brahmas with their top guns out there. Orgel pinches in the left corner. Manages to get it to Hanawal. Rolls one around for Regula. Turning away from Loof. Regula's got some separation now. Swings it up to the top. It's Del Ponte. Long flipper blocked by the stick of Pete Kessel. Skinner hacking and whacking at it. Hanawal will spin one out towards the left corner. Orgel taking the place of Regula and vice versa. Hanawal trying to advance it as far as Skinner. Kamer interrupting that. Orgel gets it, but he can't shoot. It was checked by Kessel. It's loose down there and swatted out of there by Loof at the last moment. Boy, that puck was just inches away from entering the net. Had Skinner been there a split second earlier, this game would be 2-0 Wildcats. 2:13 to go in the first period. Cats lead 1-0. Alexei Poikala, your lone goal scorer here this evening. Though the Brahmas have had the majority of the shots in this game, 10 of the 16 belong to them. Stoley. Up to O'Rourke. Deflects it to the red line. Broken up by Poikala. Orgel. Angles one off the glass on net. Prodzik decides to play it. Burnett pestering Zimmerman. Molisco can't clear it past Sipus, who shovels one on net, and it's fought off by Prodzik. Good heavy backhand shot by Dom Sipus. Poikala jabbing away at the left point, trying to get it down to Burnett, who is broken up and intercepted by Zimmerman, who clears the zone. O'Rourke. Biondo slung one wide of the net, picked up by Seamus Donahue, who's run into Zimmerman. Scoots down the boards from the right corner, tries a shot, deflects in an awkward way off of Donahue over to Molisco. Molisco to Zimmerman on the right side, moves in. Molisco calling for it, Zimmerman rips it wide of the net. John Zimmerman, very much a pass-first defenseman. Long bullet from Molisco, tracked down and gloved by Evan Moyes. Just moments ago, John Zimmerman tried to snipe it short side on Evan Moyes. On the season, folks, the Brahmas captain had just 1 goal, but he had 36 assists. Very much considered a setup man from the blue line. Sees a whole heck of a lot of power play time because of his poise and patience with the puck and his vision. Big turnover in front of the Wildcats net, and Moyes robs the shot by York. It's loose down there. The Brahmas think they've scored, and they have. And there you have it. Big critical mistake by the Wildcats. They turn the puck over right in front of their own net. And the Brahmas just eat those up for breakfast. Hunter Stanley was celebrating like the goal belongs to him. York was the one who took the initial shot. and I think it was loose in between Evan Moyes' pads after he made a save he didn't expect to have to make. He bailed his team out big time, but had no clue where the puck was after that. Stanley located it and slammed it past Evan Moyes to level the score for the Lone Star Brahmas late in period one. Your score, 1-1. Carson Kelly chasing down the puck in the left corner, battling for it with Regula. Wyatt Matthews up to Skinner. Clears the zone, a little bit too far for Hanawal, who's got some wheels, but not quite enough to nullify the icing. Actually, it's being waved off, not sure why. Zielinski was clearly the first one to it. I suppose they're saying he could have reached it before it crossed the goal line. Kamer try to give the Brahmas their first lead of this game here late in period one. We've got just 16 seconds remaining in the opening frame. Skinner getting the pass from Waring and shooting one. Pad saved by Prozic. 10 seconds to go in the opening period. Glove down at center ice by Waring. Swats one out past Skinner into the Brahmas zone, and that'll just about do it for the opening 20 minutes. A well-played period of hockey. The Brahmas did just tie this game, which has taken a little bit of the enthusiasm out of the building. Just a touch, but the folks here are still thrilled that the Wildcats scored the first goal of this series. First time they scored the first goal of a game in quite a while. And fans are thrilled with that, absolutely. And that is not a test of statistics and probability, folks. It's a test of willpower. And the Wildcats have proven this season they can overcome all sorts of long odds. But they've got to take it one game at a time. They're not looking at this game like they're down 2-0 in the series. Overall, a period the Brahmas definitely had the edge, but the Wildcats are keeping the score close because one of the other keys of tonight's game was capitalizing on scoring chances, and they've done that. Goal on just 8 shots, very nearly had 2. Almost took their first multi-goal lead against the Brahmas all season long. Had Skinner managed to tuck that rebound home. But it's 1-1 after the first 20 minutes. We're going to step aside here from the KYC. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. I'll try and zoom in a little bit more on the Hockey TV camera. Looks like it's still a little bit too wide. So I'll do my best here to help Zach. Unfortunately, we don't have the big flat screen TV up here that we usually have when Mike Trebbing is on the camera, making it a little bit more difficult for Zach to track the puck on that itty-bitty camera screen. So I don't want to zoom in too much and make life pretty hard on him. But we'll do our best to make your viewing experience as good as we possibly can. Thanks so much for joining us on your Friday night. Hope you're having a great one. We're going to step aside for a few minutes. Be back in a few to bring you your first period intermission report. Hey again there, folks. Thanks so much for tuning in. Sorry about that delay. Still got a lot of work to do before this intermission report comes to an end, so I'm going to keep this brief, but we'll just break down the first period for you in the best detail as we can. And before we let you get going for the rest of this first intermission, it was the Wildcats who finally opened the scoring first. That had not happened at all in the Robertson Cup playoffs here so far. And it's something that they hadn't done since early April, so a big jump for the Wildcats to get on the board first, which is something that Josh Nelson has been really trying to preach to the players, because we saw it especially in we saw glimpses into it, folks, in the Odessa series, that 3-game road series where things didn't go too well for the Wildcats really in any of those games, but the big kicker was that they went down by 2 goals or more in every single one of those first periods. Periods 2 and 3, they were great. But the last game, folks, game number 2 against the Brahmas, it was the same thing. If you erase the scoring that took place in period 1 of game number 2, you've got a 3-3 game, because the last goal was an empty netter that the Brahmas scored. So again, you get on the board first and you don't force yourself to claw your way from behind every single game. That's not a good recipe for success in the postseason. The Cats have done that, though the Brahmas did score. We'll take you through both of those goals. It was Alexei Poikala and that veteran line which came up big for the Wildcats. This is one of the reasons I'm such a big advocate of defensemen playing on their right, their strong side, folks, because I really do believe that it makes a big difference. I know a lot of coaches and spectators and fans of the game don't feel that it's all that big of a deal. I'm somebody who's a big advocate for it. If you're a left-handed shooter on the left side of the ice, it's so much easier to get your shots on net, especially as a defenseman, and vice versa if you're right-handed on the right side of the ice. And one of the problems I think the Cats have had is they've got a surplus of right-handed defensemen, Seamus being the only lefty. Fortunately, it just happened to be on his shift that the puck went to the left point. So I'll break down the goal for you, folks. Rosa chips it back to the left point after winning the board battle in the corner on the left side. Had that point man, that defenseman, been anyone except for Seamus, that goal wouldn't have happened. Why? Because he's left-handed, Seamus was able to just slap it on net without collecting it, taking a second, corralling it up to his forehand and shooting it. Had he been right-handed like all the rest of the Wildcats defensemen, that would have happened. They probably wouldn't have been able to get the shot through because of that extra second. Hockey is such a quick game. A lot of times taking the one-timer is your only option. That's what Seamus did. He's a smart player. He knew he didn't have much time. He got the shot off quickly, forced Prodzic to make a save. It was a decent, it wasn't that hard of a shot, but it was low and it was on net, which forced Prodzic to make a save. Rebound went right to Nick Rosa after Prodzic sticked it away. Prodzic had no idea Rosa was still lurking there, and he was. And boy, did he ever make a good pass to Alexei Poikala. Right in front of the net, just above the blue ice. Poikala kind of below the hash marks, but not quite in the blue paint just yet. Point blank shot, and Alexei buried it. For his 21st career goal as a Wildcat, to give the Cats their first lead of this series, as a matter of fact. But Hunter Stanley would tie it. Carson Kelly and Troy York, and that grinder line, I guess you could call them. Grinders they are, but skills they have as well. So grinders, not to misleadingly tell you that they don't have skill, because they do. That line is basically just a trio of playoff hockey players, folks. All 3 of them really know how to battle. Stanley, York, and Kelly, and they did on their goal. They forced the Wildcats to make a turnover. York probably got the best chance, but he couldn't bury it. Moyes robbed him and bailed some of his teammates out, but the puck laid loose, it looked like, between his pads, and I think Stanley managed to punch one over his glove and tie the game up for Lone Star just 53 seconds before the period ended. So that's where we stand now. We're tied up at 1. Break down some out-of-town scores for you real quick, and then I've got to get going for the rest of this first intermission. Aston trailing Wilkes-Barre 3-1. The Scranton Knights hoping to keep their playoffs alive late in period 2. So that's a bit of an upset potentially in the waiting for the Wilkes-Barre Scranton Knights if they can pull off that victory on home ice. New Jersey, another home team, also leading 2-0. Cooley Region trailing the Janesville Jets 2-1 on home ice, facing elimination themselves, the Cooley Region Chill. The Minnesota Wilderness tied up with Brookings, no score, as the second period just started up at the Larson Ice Center in Brookings, South Dakota. Aberdeen hosting Minot 4-1 for the visitors. The Minotauros looking to wrap up that series as quickly as possible. The Minnesota Magicians, Fairbanks Ice Dogs, their game not to take place until 7:30 p.m. Alaska time. That does it for your out-of-town scoreboard update, folks. No other South Division teams playing tonight because, again, Corpus Christi has swept the Shreveport Mudbugs. Only 3 South teams remaining in the playoffs. 2 of them playing tonight, the Wildcats and the Brahmas, tied up at 1. We're in this episode one last time before we bring you second period hockey and more. Stay tuned, folks. Well, you heard him. It's the playoffs. Charles Campbell definitely doing his part to get the audience here to make some noise for the boys who need as much support as they can. A really Herculean challenge awaits them both tonight and tomorrow night and Monday night if possible. Regardless, the next 96 hours for these Wildcats will not be easy either way. Burnett turns a shot on goal from the right corner. Prodzic with a left pad down made the stop. The second period of Wildcats hockey is presented to you by American Classifieds. Thanks so much for joining us on your Friday night, folks, for Game 3 of the South Division semifinals. The last time the Wildcats played a Game 3 in the South Division semifinals was out in Odessa, Texas. Against the Jackalopes last season, Cats managed to sweep Odessa, who are huge underdogs in that series. The Cats were expected to defeat them, but probably not in a 3-game stint. They would do that. They came from behind in game number 1 after trailing 3-0 in the first period, would score 15 unanswered goals as Rosa's shot is turned wide through the blue paint. In the series, the Cats scored 15 straight times before the Jackalopes finally responded, but they could not roar from behind to force a game number 4, and the Jacks were eliminated out at the ECC last April, nearly 1 year ago to the date. On April 22nd, Earth Day of last year, York put it backdoor hoping for Kelly, and that one misfired. Just missed the stick of Kelly, and then York goes down as if shot. I wonder what happened to him. York is still down in the left corner. I think he might have been high-sticked. Hope he's all right. Kessel over there making sure he's okay, and the Brahmas trainer is escorted out there by Austin O'Rourke. Let's take a look at Troy York, who looks like he's all right. He's back onto his skates and moving under his own power. So Steve Saylor explaining to Dan Wildfong why there will not be a call here. Just one power play so far, and it belongs to the Lone Star Brahmas, who are 0 for 1. So that's not been representative of the way their power play has been in this series. Give a special birthday shout out to the Wildcats head coach, Josh Nelson, turns 28 years of age today. Happy birthday, Josh. Kamer loses the puck to Drake Glover. And when he turned 27 last year, that's when we left out to the Ector County Coliseum. We had to leave a day early to go out there and try to finish the series. I remember that. I don't remember why we had to leave early, but we did. Something with the hotel reservations at La Quinta out in Odessa. Walker trying to slip his way past Evano, who said nope and slammed him into the wall. Carballo does the same on Malishko. Meanwhile, the puck squirts past the blue line. Guess it might have hit off of perhaps a player on the bench. I'm not sure. Nevertheless, the faceoff will stay in the Lone Star zone. If you haven't had a chance to reach out to Josh and shoot him a happy birthday text, by all means do it. I'm sure he'd appreciate the thoughtfulness. TJ Regula winning the faceoff against Matt Hannawall, or against Carson Kelly, rather. Got another birthday. Should the Wildcats advance tomorrow, Game 4 will be played on CJ Walker's 18th birthday, which would be the first day that he's allowed to play without wearing a full cage. Carson Kelly crosses over the blue line, turns and drops it for Troy York, who's got some room on the right side, shoots, tried to snipe one high on the glove side of Moyes, who dives out, sprawls, and pokes it out to the right point, held in the zone by Stoley. Kelly gets it behind the net. He has to twist his body, but the puck is still loose down there, hacked towards the front of the net. Moyes will hang on to it on his left and take a whistle. 2 minutes into the second, still tied up at 1 goal each. Goals tonight being scored by Alexei Poikala and Hunter Stanley in that order. But CJ told me he really hopes that the Wildcats can advance as far as game number 4, because it would mean he can play tomorrow night's game wearing a visor instead of a full cage. Faceoff's going to take place to Evan Moyes' left, his glove side. Tilly with a clean win. Cats have done a much better job in the defensive zone winning these faceoffs, but Rupsov holds it in the zone, can't trickle a shot through Tilly, spins one off a Brahmas stick just past the blue line. It was Marabella. Steve Saylor's got his arm in the air. He's going to call a check from behind, I believe. perhaps cross-checking. It was Tilly who was brought down, and one of the Brahmas is going to get sent off. Jim Jeffries, a longtime off-ice official over in the visiting penalty box, has opened the door. Justin Adamo has gone to the sin bin, and the Wildcats will be going to their first power play of this game. This Wildcats power play is presented by Starbright Cleaners. Scored on its last man up. Jonathan Waring would do the honors to cut the Wildcats deficit to 2, though they would not come back and win game number 2. Ripley, Waring, right point, down to the goal line. It's Rosa. Burnett touched it along, hoping for Ripley. Broken up by Kessel. If he turns on the Jets and gets to it before Waring can, he's got a 2-on-1. Drops it to Kamer, who would have been offside had he crossed over that blue line. Smart play by Kamer. Now he's good to go. Wins the puck, wins the board battle, and shoots. Fought off by Moyes. And Kessel will swat one out to center. Zimmerman is there, and the Brahmas play a little keep away. 17.5 to go in period 2. Still 1-1 is your score. This game has been tied for the vast majority of play. Moyes covers up that puck and will take a defensive zone draw. Half minutes gone by on this Wildcats power play. Really only 3 minutes and change have gone by in which either one of these teams had a lead. Other than that, it's been a tie game pretty much the whole time. Nick Rosa winning the face-off against Carson Kelly. Waring scored the last power play goal for the Wildcats. Alexi scored the only goal for the Cats in this game. Burnett gets it from Alexi. His shot stopped with the stick of Prozic. And the rebound chopped quickly out of the Brahma zone and into Wildcats territory. Waring is back. Waring starts the breakout, delivers it to Ryan Burnett. Up the right wing side he goes. He will shoot. Saved by Prozic. The examples we used as a reason to believe for the Wildcats, I guess you could say. The Chicago Blackhawks were just swept last night, folks. Nobody, and I mean nobody, predicted that would happen. And if the Blackhawks can get swept, so can the Brahmas, only in this case it would be a reverse sweep. Donahue with a long wrist shot through traffic, gets blocked by said traffic. Zimmerman, the one who did the honors, and he clears it. Blackhawks led the Western Conference this season. They were the favorites. They're a perennial powerhouse. They've won the Stanley Cup 3 of the last 6 years. 7 years, rather. Orgel will step in and fire, stopped by Prozic. Nashville, huge underdogs, won 4 straight to take the sweep. Donahue from the right point, walks the blue line, fires a wrist shot, gets blocked again, and Zimmerman clears it again. What a penalty kill he's having. Time enough for one last Wildcats rush on that hit from behind by Justin Adamo. And Donahue gives it up to CJ Walker. Just across the blue line, he's met by Jack Zielinski. That'll do it. Cats drops to 0 for 1 on the man advantage. Orgel, one hands, one wide of the net. Rolls out towards the near side. It's chopped past Burnett, not past Poikula. Near point, swings it over to Orgel at the far point. Donahue steps in. Poikula gets the return from Orgel. Down the right half boards he goes as he lobs one up to Rosa. Rosa's met by Kelly. Adamo with that long reach clears it past his own blue line. Not much further than that. Donahue is there to cover ground. Puck flies over to Ryan Burnett, who is offside, and Trent Williams blows the play dead quickly. 15.5 to go in the second. Still 1-1 remains your score. Not a whole lot of shots here in this second period. The Wildcats leading in that department 3-1 in shots on net, though none have entered the net in period 2. Heard, folks, the Ice Rays will not have access to the American Bank Center for round 2 of the playoffs. They're looking at a few other sites. It'll be neutral sites, essentially. They're ideally hoping to find places that are somewhat close to Corpus Christi so that some fans can travel to watch the Ice Rays play their first ever South Division Finals matchup. But right now, the best options, it sounds like, are in either Houston or Sugar Land, Texas. Neither of which are ideal sites for a North American Hockey League division final playoff game, but well, I guess beggars can't be choosers. Cats caught offside. So of all the South Division teams remaining, the Lone Star Brahmas are the only ones who will have full access to their rink in round number 2. Stoley turns in his own zone, pressured by Hanawal, but he clears it. This did not deflect off of any skate or stick, so icing is called against the Brahmas. So both goaltenders playing a pretty solid game so far. 10 of 11, Max Prodzic, 13 of 14, Evan Moyes. Stephen Tilley versus Drake Glover in the face-off circle. Glover with a clean win. Stoley drops it to Loof. Loof turns. He's pinned up to the wall by Tilley. Gets it up to Kessel. Turnaround shot by Cabinia. Fought off and knocked out of midair by a high stick. That goal's not going to count. Tilley hit it in well above the height of the crossbar, and this will not be a good goal. Clearly hidden by a high stick. And I don't think all the fans here realize that. This is no goal. And not only that, but the faceoff will come back into the Wildcat zone. No doubt that was a high stick. Even Stephen Tilley didn't celebrate. And you know when he doesn't celebrate, it's no goal. So perhaps it was Ripley, but I thought it was Tilley. Could be mistaken. We're jumping Marabella, met by the other 23, CJ Walker. Rolls out to Evano at the red line on the right side. Another strange bounce off the carom of the glass. Sipus had to adjust, wheels it out to Donahue. Rubtsov pushes one along out to the right point. It's Evano, long wrister, fought off by Moyes, rebound, loose in the crease. Moyes with a second save, rebound, knocked out of there by Carballo. Heroic stop by Ricky Carballo. That puck was net bound, and on the counterattack, Carballo flies down the right wing side, but he can't toe drag his way past Evano. Carballo gets him on the way through with a high stick, nothing called. Ripley with a one-timer, and he just shanked it wide of the net. Boy, was that close. That was a howitzer from Blake Ripley. I don't think Prodzic got his stick on it. I think it grazed the outside of the iron. And now a 6-man battle for possession, equally divided, perhaps 7-man along the near corner in the Brahmas zone. Rosa scoots out with it, looks to center. He's shot, stopped by Prodzic, and he covers up the inadvertent rebound. It bounced off of Damo right back into Prodzic's wheelhouse. I'm not sure if Rosa tried to give it across to Kareem Del Ponte, who was there in the left circle, who would have had a one-time opportunity, or if the pass was just blocked off. There was no lane. But Rosa just forcing Prodzic to make a save, and the rebound nearly bounced in on him off of his own teammate. 13:39 to go in period 2. The Cats are not done fighting yet, folks. 1-1 is your score. Nothing has entered the net here in period 2. Well, it has, but it was waved off. Orgel long wrister, blocked. Clearing attempt on the dive there by Zimmerman. Gets it out as far as the right point. Del Ponte's long bullet, high and off target. Rosa scurries one back in behind the net. Poikala looks to put it in front for Burnett, broken up by Kelly. Carson Kelly chips it up to Stanley. Stanley's met by Orgel. Rosa, aided by Orgel, rolls out to Zimmerman. Burnett slings it back to Poikala, gives it over to Del Ponte. Long shot deflected by Rosa, wide of the right post. Zimmerman can't clear it. Poikala intercepting. Again gets it to Orgel. Left point, slap shot, whistles wide. Del Ponte right side. His shot gets blocked by York's skate. Burnett will shovel it back to Del Ponte. Best pressure of the period for the Cats. Del Ponte's long shot. Off target again. I think he was hoping for the stick of Rosa to deflect it. Nothing doing there. Kelly intercepting the centering pass from Rosa to Burnett. And Stanley will chip it out, finally alleviating the pressure the Cats have put on the Brahmas in their own zone for the last number of minutes. Lone Star is going to try to get a change underway here. And the Wildcats will look to catch them in the midst of it. Orgel spins away from a hit by Austin O'Rourke. Gets it deep into Brahmas territory. Zimmerman out to play it. Reverses one. Brahmas fail to clear it past Skinner. But on a second effort, they do. Biondo from the red line. Advances one as far as Aiden Spellacy. Regula back the other way. Into the neutral zone near the Wildcats logo. Good pass over to Waring on the right side. Into the middle it goes. Skinner with a backhand shot. Denied by Prodzic with the stick. Zimmerman pinned up by Jeff Skinner. Skinner getting his stick in there, trying to work the puck free. Finally it comes out around the wall, out towards Waring in the corner. Spins one through the blue paint, out towards the left circle. Regula turns. Diving clearing attempt is made by the Lone Star Brahmas. Giacomo Malisco got it out. Biondo down the left wing side. Stops, delays, waits for some help. Swings one in, past Spellisy, too far out of his reach. Waring is there to take over. Deep in his own zone. Bounces one out to center. Loof intercepts and gave it away to Regula. 11.5 to go in the second. 1-1 your score. Here comes Glover stepping into the middle, shooting it. Glove saved by Evan Moyes. And boys, he looked sharp tonight. The Wildcats need good goaltending if they're to beat the Lone Star Brahmas. That much is not to be questioned. And Evan Moyes has given them just that and then some in this game. 15 of 16 so far, and I think even a few other shots that probably should have been given to him have not been. Moyes has been very solid in this one so far. Next face-off will be to Moyes' left, his glove side. Dan Wildfong sends out all the big boys, Kessel, Glover, and Kamer. Cats countering with Stephen Tilley, Kevin Fees, and Isaac Cabina. Donahue defending Kamer on the wall. Glover gets it in behind the net. Along the end boards, works his way out towards the front. Sipus blocking his lane. Kamer, now defended by Donahue. Donahue staying tight on Kamer, watching him every step of the way. Nice drop pass. Loof pinches, cycles one to Glover. Good movement by the Brahmas top line. One-timer is blocked on that shot from Seamus Donahue. Kamer couldn't get it through him. As he lofts one out, Donahue's glove intercepting that. Loof gets it at center. Puck is rolling on its edge. Rupsov had it poked away. The Brahmas onside as Kamer enters the zone and rings one high and wide of the net. Cabina dropped it off. Here comes Kevin Fees. Fees had his stick checked there by Justin Adamo. So we approach the halfway point of regulation. Loof with a long, high saucer pass. Rupsov enters the zone on the right side, gives it across the ice. Marabella kicked it too far into his path. Adamo to pick it up. Closed off by Ricky Carballo. Walker trying to slip past. He does, but he loses the puck. Evano. Glover. Marabella. Finished off. Good, healthy check by Donahue. Adamo hauled down to the ice behind the Wildcats net by Kareem Del Ponte. Del Ponte shovels one out past Ripley. Evano a drive off target. Carballo with a 3-on-2 developing has Walker, finds the trailer. Ripley for Walker, just missed his stick. Carballo's shot from a tough angle gets blocked. Smart play there from Ripley, trying to get it to Walker, who would have had a tap in, but the pass just miscued. Evano bounces one high off the glass. Look out here. Carson Kelly's got a step on Orgel. He drives, loses the puck, goes down. The net comes off. Will this be a penalty? I'm not sure. I don't think so. It looked like a relatively innocuous play by the Wildcats defenseman. Ryan Orgel was back. And it looks like nothing will be called. The net was dislodged after Kelly looked like just kind of lost an edge, and Orgel finished him off. As he was back checking, just kind of bumped into him. Boy, Kelly with a burst of speed there. And I'm watching it again. Yeah, there's nothing there. That's not a penalty, folks. Orgel just made a nice check. Clean hit. Nothing wrong with that in the slightest. It's a tough area, of course, but I don't really know how else he's supposed to defend that. He couldn't get his stick there. All he could do was play the body, and he did. Prevented the Brahmas' top scorer this season from getting a grade A scoring chance. So we head to our second period media timeout. Regulation time halfway through, 9.5 to go in period two. 1-1 your score. The Brahmas outshooting the Cats by a very thin margin, 17-15. Thank you very much for joining us on the Wildcats Broadcast Network. Hope you're having a great one. We'll be right back, folks. The Wildcats, another good effort in the defensive zone to not let anything escalate after a faceoff. It's been a very much improved component to their game, which is why they have not trailed yet in this game so far. Stanley gets it to John Zimmerman. The Brahmas captain slams one around the wall heavily. Loose at the side of the goal. Orgel will scoop it up. Kareem Del Ponte touches one along to Alexei Poikala, his billet mate. Now it's Orgel. Ex-Brockville Brave gets it back behind his net again. Swiss defenseman Kareem Del Ponte up to the Wildcats co-captain Nick Rosa, who slips past an entanglement of Cypus and York, a couple of veterans. Long pass batted down beautifully by Julian Biondo, but just offside, says the linesman Trent Williams. Nice play by Biondo. What a display of hand-eye coordination. 8:46 remain in the second period. 1-1 remains your score. No scoring has transpired in this period number 2. And folks, I know it's early to say this now, but if this game goes to overtime, boy, will that be nerve-wracking. I've never experienced calling an overtime game with my team on the brink of elimination. I don't know if I can handle it. Puck is slapped around the wall by Simon Loof, and it's cut off by Moyes. Waring able to clear it out. No icing. Stoley behind his own net. Hannawall's on the other side of it. Starts the forecheck. Forces Stoley to go the other way. Smart play there by Hannawall. He made the Brahmas force a pass, and as a result, they turn it over. Hannawall wins the puck from York. Sets up Waring, who fires one off the mask. Save, rebound. Regula's shot goes wide. Skinner picks it up right corner, turns it towards the net, blocked by his own man, Skate Regula. Skinner follows up Prodzic with a couple of big saves, and then Skinner is cross-checked not once, not twice, not 3 times, multiple times. I don't like that one bit. Austin O'Rourke, way too many extra punches there. He should go for that. Austin O'Rourke loves to do that, folks. He loves throwing that extra punch, not once, not twice, not 3 times, as many times as he can possibly get away with, and he's going to get away with it here. I do not like that at all. If you want to keep this game under control, you don't let that go, and Austin O'Rourke's going to get away with one big time. I think I lost count of how many times he did it in game number 2. Not a fan. Stephen Tilley lines up with Drake Glover. Gets kicked from the faceoff dot. I understand the idea of protecting your goaltender, but he just takes it too far with those. Fees tries to drive to the front of the net, lost the handle on the puck, which has been covered up by Prodzic. A push or 2 is sufficient. And don't be surprised if this game starts getting out of hand, if that sort of thing continues. How you score goals in the playoffs. You won't score a whole lot of pretty ones. You do it by doing what Skinner just did. You do it by doing what Donahue, Poikala, and Rosa did on the Wildcats' first goal, and only goal up till this point in the game. Puck takes another strange bounce off the partition. The Cats will try to capitalize off of this. A penalty will be called for tripping. And it will be against Demantis Cypus. Oof, I did not see that. Brahmas to the power play for the second time tonight. And uh-oh, I don't like the sight of this. Demantis Cypus is skating off the ice. Oh boy, this can't be good. There must be some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct called against Cypus. Right now, 2 minutes show on the clock against the veteran defenseman. The only defenseman, I should add, who's had junior hockey playoff experience on the Wildcats. I believe Seamus Donahue was injured when he played in Penticton last year during the postseason. So Carballo is going to serve the 2-minute penalty, and Cypus must have done something much to the displeasure of Steve Saylor, because he's been ejected for at least the rest of this period. And to lose somebody like that, a veteran defenseman in the playoffs, that is a huge loss for the Wildcats, who are going to have to do what they can without him. Cyprus is done for at least the next 8 minutes. The Cats are back to the PK for the second time tonight. Brahmas 0 for 1 thus far. Molisco gets the return pass from Zimmerman. Deals it over to Austin Kamer, top of the right circle. His pass was a weak one, broken up by Del Ponte. Puck stays in the attacking zone as it's hacked at by Del Ponte and Orgel and Burnett alike. The latter of whom pushed one out to the front. Dangerous play there. Shot score. Drake Glover capitalized. Another defensive zone turnover right in front of Evan Moyes. A penalty which I did not see comes back and haunts the Wildcats again. The Brahmas score on the power play. They've done that so often here in this series. That's their 4th power play goal. And just like that, they have their first lead of this game. .27 to go in the second period. For the first time in this game, the visitors have the lead. And they got that just by going to the front of the net and hoping for a bounce. That's essentially what they got, folks. They forced a Wildcats turnover. They had bodies. They had a presence in front of Evan Moyes. And the puck just kind of rolled over to Drake Glover, who had an empty net, with Moyes all out of sorts. And I wish I would have seen the penalty against Demantis Cyprus. I have no idea why he was ejected. I heard unsportsmanlike conduct. I wish I would have seen the trip which caused this whole thing. If it wasn't blatant in the playoffs, I don't like the fact that it was called. I'll tell you that much right now. But it's cost the Wildcats, and it's put them behind for the first time tonight. Regula slips past Evano. Able to beautifully work it away from 2 Brahmas along the boards. Lone Star still with a lot of numbers down low, outnumbering the Wildcats in the corners and around the net. 3-on-2 battle in the near corner favoring Lone Star. Trickles out to Regula, up to the top. Wyatt Matthews with a slap shot. It's gloved by Prodzik, who saw it all the way through. Again, had there been a body there screening Prodzik, he would not have seen it. And the Wildcats are going to have to start sacrificing themselves. Taking a hook, taking a cross check, taking a jab to areas you don't want to be jabbed for the sake of tying this game. Because they're not going to score from that range without a screen on Prodzik. Good, hard, heavy, accurate shot by Wyatt Matthews. But Prodzik was able to see it all the way. So 6.5 minutes remain in period 2. Lone Star with a 2-1 lead. The first goal of the second period scored just moments ago, about a minute ago, by Drake Glover. Second power play goal of the series for him. Kelly intercepting the pass by Donahue. Now Donahue takes it away from Troy York in the other zone. Walker chips one off the glass and out into the Lone Star zone. Loof circles back with it. Banks it back off the wall. Donahue intercepting at center. Look out, he turns the puck over. Carson Kelly trying to charge down the right side. Drops it for the trailer. York with a shot. Blocked. Puck's cleared out past Loof's right glove and down. Simon Loof, the Swede, circles his way around the perimeter, but his clearing attempt is intercepted at center by Tilley, who flops one on net. Prodzik routinely able to deal with that one. 5:46 to go in the second. 2-1 Lone Star. Your goal scorers in the following order: Alexi Poikula, Hunter Stanley, and Drake Glover. Face off to Prodzik's right. Tilley against Adamo. And Tilley being kicked out. It'll be Cabinia to take his place. Perhaps Fees. It will be the latter. Kevin Fees will take it. Adamo with a clean win. Molisco behind his net. Up to Rupsov on the left wing side. Making his postseason debut tonight. Feathers one up past Wyatt Matthews. Rupsov is checked by Stephen Tilley. Cabinia working for it. Passed one dangerously out to the middle. Rupsov intercepting it. Adamo holding it in the zone with that big reach of his. Wyatt's got it. Slapped one Too far for Fees. Rupsoff intercepting it behind the Wildcats net, looking to extend the Brahmas lead. Adamo rips one wide of the glove side post of Moyes, who lurches out and snags the puck well outside of his crease. He knew the Brahmas were buzzing for their first insurance lead of this game. Bit of a surge of late by Lone Star, really, ever since that penalty. And what did we talk about, folks? The 3 keys of the game tonight. Pretty simple. And we highlighted at the start of the broadcast. 1, limiting needless penalties. 2, being competitive on faceoffs. And 3, capitalizing on scoring chances. Cats have done a good job in one department, a decent job in the other, and a not so stellar job on the third. Limiting needless penalties. Most of them have, but all it takes is 1. And the Brahmas, nearly a 30% conversion rate on the power play against the Wildcats this season. Right off that faceoff, Kamer turns one on net. It was swallowed by Moyes. I think it might have hit him a little bit awkwardly near the clavicle. Hope he's all right. So 5 minutes remain in the second period. Lone Star leading the Wildcats 2-1. Brahmas also with 2 unanswered. Cats open the scoring with just 4.5 minutes remaining in the opening period for their first lead of this series. Ryan Burnett on the right wing side. Slips it into the right corner. Ebeno outraces Rosa to the puck. It's cleared past Kamer, not past Poikala, who can't get it deep. Kicked out by Rosa, back to Jonathan Waring. Waring to Ryan Burnett. Pass to nobody in particular. Going to be picked off by Kessel, who slaps one down into the adjacent corner. Waring trickles one back up the boards. Poikala filters one through for Rosa from the red line. Hooks one into Brahmas territory. Prozik out of his net with his goal stick. Poikala finishes his check on Jack Zielinski. Looks like he's ailing a little bit. Poikala, that is, after delivering that hit. Up to Rosa it goes. Hugging the left half boards. Punches one back behind the Brahmas goal. Austin O'Rourke turning with it. He and Ebeno switch. Zielinski breaks one out for Aiden Spellacy. Had a big night in game number 2. Cross ice pass intended for O'Rourke. Broken up. And Spellacy's slap shot gets blocked. Puck's cleared out off of Jack Zielinski's glove. Simon Loof recovering in his own zone. Slaps it past Skinner out to the right side. It's O'Rourke. Coughs it up to Donahue. Can he clear? Yes. Past his own blue line, but just barely. Skinner with his head up. Makes the outlet pass. Hannawall checked by Jack Zielinski before falling down. He was 1 on 5 as the Wildcats were in the midst of a change. Loof picks it up behind his own net. Hannawall lifts his stick, steals it, swings it back to the point. Orgel slaps it, tees it up for Wyatt, who moves in and fires, just rings one wide. Prozik out diving for it, and it's still in play here. And Kelly will march it out to center ice from the left wing side. York cuts into the slot. He's got some room. Backhand shot while diving, fought off by Moyes. Puck sent out to the front. Stoley with a shot, stopped by Moyes. Rebound, covered by Moyes. And he takes a whistle. Boy, Wyatt Matthews with a couple of good looks in this game. He had a really good look in game number 2 as well with a slap shot from pretty much right between the circles. Mid to high slot range, maybe a little bit off to the left, but a good 10-15 feet of uncontested room to work with, and just teed up a really heavy slap shot that Prozik barely fought off with his blocker. And in this game, he's had a couple of good looks on net, but that last shot, he misfired just wide of the right post. I don't think Prozik saw it because the short side was pretty much wide open. Orgel jabbing along the wall. Glover intercepting, centering. Kessel with a shot. Blocked. Close call there for the Brahmas. Carballo down his off wing. Slips one past Molisco. Here comes Walker driving it wide and shoveling it on net. Prozik with a high chest save. Denies the future Minnesota State Maverick, C.J. Walker, who will be celebrating his 18th birthday tomorrow night. Obviously hopes the Wildcats can extend their playoffs at least one game. Wyatt Matthews also celebrating a birthday recently. Turned 20 back on April 16th. It was on Easter Sunday. So happy belated birthday to Wyatt Matthews as well. Waring, right point, long flipper, trickles wide of the net. It's Carballo and Walker both jostling for it. Rolls out into the deep slot, picked off by Rupsoff. who goes wide on Waring, out skating him. Rupsov trying to center, broken up by Kareem Del Ponte. Del Ponte's had a pretty strong night defensively, I've noticed. Resolve from him, who did not play in game number 2. But here comes Adamo working away from Walker. Backhand shot broken up by Waring's stick. Adamo twisting and turning with it. Walker up defending it. Adamo with a little bit of room. Can't get it for Rupsov. Rolls out to Carballo, who starts it up through center. Nice stick check by Jack Zielinski on Ricky Carballo to knock the puck away with ease. Slips past Nick Rosa and slings it into the Wildcat zone. 2:12 to go in the second period. Lone Star leading 2-1. Just one goal being scored in the second period. Drake Glover on the power play. Nice move there by the Brahmas defenseman Simon Loof, but he dropped it back too far for Biondo. Donahue breaks up the pass. But his pass was in between both Carballo and Ripley, who were both at the end of a shift regardless, so it's a moot point. Donahue with another good read, but another miscue on the pass. Biondo enters the zone on the left side. Donahue defending him every step of the way. Biondo showing poise, taking his time. His mates have all changed, and he wrists one over top of the crossbar. Zimmerman at the right point. Long wrist shot, off target, bounces off the backboards. O'Rourke picks up the puck. Chips one back to Malisko at the left point. Rolls one in behind the net. Spellacy is there. Malisko is calling for it. Spellacy turns away from Rosa. Popped it down to Hunter Stanley. Stanley in the far corner. Rosa harassing him ruthlessly, trying to regain possession for the Wildcats. They can't do it. Spellacy. It's Brahma's third line really going to work. O'Rourke slips one through the blue paint. Nobody's there. Zimmerman has to get it all the way at the half boards. Gaining some separation on Poikala. The Cats are exhausted, and Moyes wisely takes a whistle. This last minute of play is brought to you by La Quinta Inn & Suites, your Wildcats official host hotel. 2-1 Lone Stars. We approach the end of period 2. The Brahmas scored with just 53 seconds remaining in period 1. Can the Cats pull off a similar feat? Kelly with a clean face-off win. Evano with some room, lets it go. Not sure Moyes ever saw that. Boy, was that close. Went wide of his glove hand. Wyatt Matthews will start the breakout. Nice pass, but Hanawal couldn't quite receive it. And that left hand on the right side makes things so much more difficult. Regula motors his way through Zielinski. Evano taking away his time and space. No real estate for Regula, but he finally wins some of his own. Pushes it down into the opposite corner. Kelly lost it. It rolls out towards Wyatt, who's bided up by Stanley. Wyatt falls down. Jack Zielinski throws one off of York on accident. Hanawal can't get to it before Stanley could, and he will lob one into Wildcats territory. And that'll just about do it for period 2. So a period in which the Cats fought hard, outshot the Brahmas by 5, but had nothing to show for it, and in fact were outscored in that period. Lone Star scored once, the Cats did not, so the Brahmas have their first lead of this game. 2-1 your score through the first 40 minutes. Your shots even at 22 apiece, which hasn't happened through 40 minutes at all by the Wildcats against Lone Star this season, so that in and of itself is quite an accomplishment. These guys throw everything on net, folks. The Lone Star Brahmas, they are known for it. Against the Cats in particular, they've been dominant this season in the shots on net department. Just the fact that we're even through 40 minutes is a good sign, but the Cats will still have some work to do to solve a very strong goaltender right now in Max Prozik and to penetrate a nearly impenetrable defensive unit that the Lone Star Brahmas boast. That lone goal scored in the second period was scored by Drake Glover 12 and a half minutes into period 2 on a Wildcats penalty, which I still don't know really why it was called. It was a tripping minor and an abuse of officials 10-minute misconduct, which at this stage, folks, is pretty absurd, if I'm being honest with you. To those of you listening, I have a genuine question, a rhetorical question, but one that's intended to provoke your thoughts a little bit. How many times in your life have you heard of an abuse of officials penalty? Think about it. Probably not very often in the game of hockey. It's just not called very often. Last season, I maybe saw it called once, if that, maybe twice. This season, dozens of times. Some food for thought there for you. 2-1 through the first two periods here at the KYC. The Brahmas have the lead off that last goal scored by Drake Glover on the power play. We hope Demantis Cypus can return to this game. I believe he will. I don't see ejection or game misconduct anywhere, so I believe Cypus will be back. Not until about 2 minutes or so have expired in period 3. That and more coming your way next. If we have time to bring you an intermission report, we will gladly do so. If not, we'll be back in plenty of time before third period hockey starts. And the Wildcats' potentially last game ever in this building. Stay tuned, folks.
I know. I was like panting. I was like, oh man. How's it going?
Keep selling on the opposite side of me.
Come to me.
Come to me.
I love him, but with a camera whore. His dramatic like pre-game ritual. Beyond it was? Really? He's like kind of superstitious. He's pretty bad. He's one of like the worst ones.
Pretty upset about it.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Is this it? Is this the last period ever in this building? The time has come for one last hurrah, perhaps. The players know it, the fans know it. You can feel it in this building. Combination of suspense and fear, excitement and worry, all mixed into one big whirlwind of emotions. We'll see how the Wildcats go about taking those emotions and transferring them onto the ice. Their backs 100% up against the wall. This is their last chance to defy all odds, to defy all expectations, to snap a 12-game losing streak at its peak and its helm. The most critical and vital of moments right now. They've got 20 minutes. The Brahmas can end their hopes, end their season, and perhaps end their very existence. But not if the Wildcats have something to say about it first. Period 3 from the KYC, perhaps the last, now underway. Seamus Donahue will collect the puck. He shovels it out to center ice. Aiden Spellacy will swat it back into the Wildcat zone. Donahue is limping. We hope he's all right. Cats cannot afford to lose him. I do see Demantis Cyphus down in the penalty box, so he will presumably return to action after a couple minutes, after serving that 10-minute penalty. Look out here. The puck's turned over at center. Malishko with a toe drag. Lost it to Jonathan Waring. What a defensive play. And now he's got to recover. He swats it right to Biondo, who intercepts. Biondo waiting. He's got some time. Wheels to the outside, up to the deep slot. Looks for Glover. He's got him open, but he's right on top of him. Biondo wheels out to the right side and fires. Blocked by a Wildcat skate. I think he took his time a little bit too much. And the Cats can reset, regroup, and reorganize. The Wildcats have a pretty special announcement that's going to be taking place here later on. I believe it won't take place until the end of this game. They're going to do something special for the 3-star selection. Just thought I'd give you a bit of a teaser on that. Pete Kessel intercepting it from Waring. And I think that puck was played with a high stick by Jonathan Waring. The faceoff will go back into the Wildcat zone. Boy, on that last shift, Julian Biondo really showing good poise, but sometimes showing too much poise can actually be a bad thing. We've seen it a few times this season, where it's great to take your time, slow down the game, and wait for the right, perfect play. That can often lead to goals, but it can also often lead to turnovers. So Stoley will pick up the puck after that offensive zone faceoff win by the Brahmas. 2-1 your score early in period 3 in favor of the visiting Lone Star Brahmas. CJ Walker picks up the puck in his own corner up to Waring on the right side. Drops it back behind his net. Wyatt Matthews has got it. Wyatt Matthews chips one a little bit too far for Carballo, but he's going to outrace the opposition, so no icing is called. Carballo reverses one down to Skinner in the adjacent corner. Spins one on net. Making the stop there is Prodzik, and Demantis Cyphus should be let out of the box now. We're at 18:03. The penalty came with 12:04 remaining, so I believe he served all 10 minutes of that misconduct. I'm not sure if he's going to have to serve the additional 2 because of the trip. Not sure exactly how that works. I believe that might be the case. If he hasn't been let out of the box now, that will probably be the case. The Cats will have to continue battling it without him for the next few minutes at least. Kamer trying to charge wide on Kareem Del Ponte. Centers it, nice pass, Glover. Down the left side wide, trying to tuck it in from a wraparound. Just didn't work out. That was a close call. Not sure if that was saved by Moyes or Regula. Perhaps the two of them combined kept that out of the net. Now it's Donahue. Seamus will start the breakout. Slapped it up to Hanawal, who curls one into the Lone Star zone. Zimmerman will be first to it. Slides one around to Justin Adamo. The French-born forward skies one very high in the air. Hanawal intercepts that up to Skinner. Chips it past Adamo into the Lone Star zone behind their net. Prodzik's got it. Malishko, speedy defenseman, trying to slip past all the Wildcats on the ice, finally was knocked off the puck. But the Cats can't capitalize off of any kind of counterattack. The Brahmas just get back there so quickly. That's what we talked about near the end of game number 2. The Brahmas have some defensemen who, despite being very good in their own zone, can get caught sometimes. Malishko, Loof, occasionally Zielinski. Those guys love to lead the rush and just jump up. They get a little excited sometimes. Cats are caught offside. But when they go up the ice like that with a full head of steam, charging up, trying to lead the rush, you can capitalize on counterattacks off of forwards who aren't quite on the same page, and they could get caught. You steal that puck off the defenseman's stick, it's almost an instant 2-on-1 the other way. Orgel will blast it in from center, ricocheted off of Brahma's skate into the Evano corner. No tripping forthcoming against Kevin Fees. Waring hoping to get the puck at the left point. He does, but under a lot of duress and pressure from Austin O'Rourke. Cabinha's at center. He turns it over, but Spellacy mishandled it. Orgel up for Tilly, who shovels it into the attacking zone. Prodzic's got to deal with it behind his net. He will drop it to Blake Evano, who did not play in game number 2, but did play in game 1. Zielinski able to elude the multiple stick checks and stick lifts from Isaac Cabinha. Fresh off the bench, it's the speedy Ryan Burnett, who will enter the Brahma zone on his off wing. Loses possession of the puck, which rolls on net, and Prodzik will hang on to it. We're just about 4 minutes into this third period. The Cats have not yet tied this game. They've got 16 minutes left to do it. Just one shot on net through the first 4 minutes of period 3, and it belongs to the Wildcats. Poikala, the face-off against Carson Kelly. Beaten by Kelly. And Donahue's going to have to track down that sliding puck. It crosses the goal line, but no icing called by Steve Saylor or any of the linesmen. Donahue up to the right side for Sipus. Deflected further by Ryan Burnett. No icing as Rosa outraces Stoli to that puck. Loof's got it in the far corner. Can't clear it. Rosa's got it. He centers it, hoping for Burnett. Deflected off a stick. I think it was Troy York's. Sipus down towards Rosa, who's pinned up now by York. The puck rolls its way down into Wildcats territory once again. Future Michigan Tech Husky, Seamus Donahue, passed one too far for Sipus, and it's picked off by Pete Kessel. Kessel's had a great series so far, but he has his pocket picked from behind by Nick Rosa, who starts the counter with Ripley and Burnett on his right side. Rosa will fire it through a screen, saved by Prodzic's glove. That's a smart, good shot by Rosa. It was pretty low, it was glove side, so if had been a little bit lower, it might have bounced off of Prodzic's pad, either to Ripley or perhaps Burnett. Not only that, but Rosa utilized the defenseman standing right in front of him as a means of screening Prodzik, though it didn't look like that fazed him in the slightest. It looked like Prodzik had a pretty good look at that shot, but I really love that shot, folks. Coming down the wing with a defenseman right on you. Don't try to tiptoe your way through him, just shoot it. Waring will, he shoots, saved, and the rebound just missed the stick of both Hannawall and Ripley, and Walker all in front of the net. Now it's Carballo getting it in the corner and spinning one between the two defensemen. As a result, it goes down the length of the ice. I think he was in two minds there, couldn't decide on who to pass to, and sometimes when your brain is thinking that, all your body can do is just pass in between both of them if you can't make up your mind. Molisco will cycle one to Zimmerman. Up to Rupsov, touched along and further out to center ice. The Brahmas making the safe play on every single zone exit. Desperately trying to protect this 2-1 lead that they've accumulated over, of course, the 45-plus minutes into this game. Del Ponte doubling back in behind his own goal line. Spins one up to Skinner, rather. Delayed penalty finally upcoming against Lone Star. They've only been penalized once so far. Marabella gets his stick on that, and the Cats will go to a much-needed power play, or a much-welcomed power play, which is 0 for 1 tonight and didn't look spectacular on the first opportunity, but it is something, a chance for the Cats to get this game tied up. It will be Adamo again. He's the only Brahma to have been penalized in this game so far. Cats back to the man advantage. Lone Star converted on its second power play. Can the Wildcats do the same on their second? Josh Nelson, celebrating his 28th birthday today, will send out Nick Rosa, Blake Ripley, Jeff Skinner, Ryan Burnett, Jonathan Waring. We do not see a whole lot of Jeff Skinner on power plays. Interesting look here. And the Cats' best face-off man, Nick Rosa, will try to win this draw against Pete Kessel, the Brahmas' #1 sniper. He was also a solid defensive player, which is why Dan Wildfung trusts him on penalty kills. Rosa beats him, though, on the draw. The puck is chopped past both Waring and Skinner. And now a stickless Zielinski scurries to the bench to try to get a new one. The Brahmas will just make a de facto line change instead. Rosa drops it off, and it's Skinner stumbling a bit, but he keeps the puck in the zone, at least temporarily. Nice skate-to-stick play. Rosa gets it right circle. Waring wants a deep slot. Rosa goes behind the net, ultimately for Burnett instead. Rolls around further. Will it reach Waring? Yes, it does. He manages to keep it in the zone. Down to the left corner. Rosa spinning with it. Up towards the front, picked off by Zimmerman. He trickles one past Ripley, who's got to try to outrace Marabella. He does. Waring slings a shot on net. Brodzik made a butterfly save. Now Stoley's got it. Shovels one high and over Ripley and down the ice. It hobbles over the stick of Jack Zielinski, which is still loose down there. Minute 12 to go on this Wildcats power play presented by Starbright Cleaners. Burnett slips past one check, going wide on the second. He is tripped, and for some reason, nothing is called. As a result, the Brahmas could get a 2-on-1. Carson Kelly down the right side with Kessler to the goal. Kelly will shoot. He scores. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. A 2-on-1 given to the Brahmas because they tripped Ryan Burnett and completely got away with it, and then came down the ice and scored on a 2-on-1. That, folks, right there is a microcosm of a disgrace for officiating that has been the 2016-17 season. That right there, that last 20 seconds you just saw, is a perfect embodiment of the disgrace that we have seen all season long. And the Brahmas have doubled their lead. 3-1 is your score. A shorthanded goal scored by Carson Kelly halfway through the Wildcats power play. Folks, I know it's my job to say things in these situations, but frankly, I'm speechless. Carballo slaps the puck over to Walker, top of the left circle. Donahue misfired on that pass, not sure who he was hoping for there, and the Brahmas clear it. 12 minutes and 22 seconds remain, and now the Wildcats' deficit is even bigger. Got to score at least twice in that time frame. As Orgel's shot is gloved and snagged by Brodzik, thereby killing off what's left of the Wildcats power play. Short-handed goal scored by Carson Kelly. It was a nice shot. I'm not trying to discredit Carson Kelly's shot. Beautifully placed shot on that 2-on-1. But he doesn't get it if the right call is made. Ryan Burnett clearly tripped by Kelly. He picked up the puck because of it, got a 2-on-1, and scored. So instead of a Wildcats 5-on-3, it's a Brahmas 3-1 lead. Waring risks a shot, again snagged by Brodzik. He's really been doing some good leather flashing with that glove. Cats have got to find a way to get inside of his head. He is so sharp right now. 27 of 28 on the night. He is stopping just about everything. The Brahmas clear the puck out of their own zone. Wyatt Matthews will get it. It's rolling. He settles it down. Sends one up to Nick Rosa. Puck deflects. Nice touch pass from Burnett to Fees, who coughs it up to Simon Lou for the good stick check. Flies over Wyatt Matthews, lands flat, and Rosa clears it into the Brahmas zone. Brodzik out of his net behind it to play it. Evano slaps it around, past Waring. Bounces high in the air. Stanley is crushed there by Wyatt Matthews before he can enter the zone. Waring takes over. Up to Burnett. Burnett feeds Regula. Left circle, fires a shot right into the chest of Brodzik. Not only is he making all these saves through seemingly a good chunk of traffic, but he's not letting any pucks bounce off of him. He is just swallowing these shots, Max Brodzik. The Cats have just 11 minutes and 22 seconds now to make up a 2-goal deficit against arguably the best defensive team in the league. The stats would say that they're the second best behind Aston. But the Brahmas have faced tougher competition than the Aston Rebels have all season long. At any rate, task ahead will not be easy. It will not be pleasant. Win or lose. Should the Wildcats come from behind, it will take a great deal of hard work and sacrifice of their very souls to get to that point, and their bodies as well. But it will be even more painful mentally if they don't. CJ Regula versus Pete Kessel in the draw. Kessel beat Regula. That face off to the right of Prozic. Hanwell knocks the puck free. Skinner trying to settle it down. Glover takes a whack at it out to Zimmerman. Zimmerman passes one up. Glover with a good backhand pass. A little bit too far for Kessel. Sipus to Rosa. Backhands one a little bit too far for Hanwell, but he reaches out that stick and tips it into Brahmas territory. Apparently that was short of the red line when Hanwell deflected it, because Trent Williams is calling the Wildcats for icing. It's not what I saw. But nothing should come as a surprise at this point, folks. 10:47 to go in the third. Remain at even strength. Lone Star with a 3-1 lead, and the Cats out shooting them right now by 7. It's not for lack of effort that they're behind in this game. Puck is shoveled back from Rupsov to the left point. It's Loof. Sipus, one of the several 96-borns on the ice tonight who are hoping this isn't their last game of junior hockey in their lives. Junior hockey, a very unique experience. Anyone who's played it will tell you. It's a time where you're not a professional yet, but you sort of feel like one in a way. Most of them don't really have schooling, classes to worry about. Some of them take online classes, maybe 1 or 2 in high school, but for the most part, the majority don't have school. They don't have jobs or families to worry about. It's just hockey. When they're young, away from home, for most of them for the first time, with other like-minded individuals who are aspiring to reach the same places and have the same goals and share the same passions. It's a unique time in any young man's life. It only lasts for, at the very most, 4 years. And for so many of them, this could be the last game. Alexei Poikala, Nick Rosa. Seamus Donahue, Demantis Sipus, Evan Moyes, Jonathan Waring, Jared Dempsey. Here's a chance for the Wildcats. A centering pass, shot, score! Ricky Carvalho capitalized off the deflection. Took a strange bounce, but the Wildcats will take it. And we've got a game, ladies and gentlemen. Carvalho has brought the Cats to within 1 with 9.5 minutes remaining in period 3. Gives C.J. Walker the assist. He's the one who put it out front. It took a strange deflection off of Brahma's stick. Because of that, it threw Prozic off. Carvalho capitalized. Pretty vacant side of the net. Blocker side of Prozic. Carvalho managed to beat him. And the Cats have drawn the Wildcats to within a goal. Stanley had his stick hooked into Ryan Burnett. Picks it back up after it dropped to the ice. The Brahmas have just iced this puck, and icing, the rightful call, has been made. 3-2 your score in favor of Lone Star with 9:22 to go in period 3. Stanley down the right side will slam on the brakes and stops. Fluttering puck, glove down by Waring. Backhands one out of the zone. Just barely. The Brahmas slam it back in. Moyes behind his net, drops it for Wyatt Matthews. Prozic delivers it out onto his left side. Zimmerman, the Lone Star captain, airs one off the glass and out to the neutral zone. Regula settles down the puck. Wyatt's got it below his own goal line with 8:42 remaining in period 3. The Wildcats trailing 3-2. Suddenly that mountain looks a whole lot less steep now that Carballo has brought the Cats to within a single goal. Sipus steps on Pete Kessel. Not sure where that puck ended up, but I believe it's out of play. 8.5 to go in the third. We are bound for our third period media timeout and our final media timeout of this game. We're going to step aside real quick, folks. Be right back. So a nice little tribute during that third period media timeout from our PA announcer to all the billet families and to the season ticket holders and to the off-ice officials who've done so much for the Wildcats over a huge number of years. Folks, some of these people have been here since the very beginning, or almost the very beginning, and absolutely deserve all the applause that they can get from the faithful here at the rink tonight. Those are the people the Wildcats will be battling for the next 8 minutes. 3-2 Brahmas. They've not had a shot on net in the last 12 minutes. I don't think they care. They're strictly playing defense right now, folks. Playoff hockey in the purest sense of the words. Hand pass called against the Wildcats. Everything is off the glass. Everything is one and done. Everything is out. No nonsense, just safe plays. Even on the goal the Wildcats scored, they scored it because the Brahmas made a good defensive play. The pass was broken up and deflected right to Carballo, which threw off Prozic. That's how you score against the Brahmas. That's not a mistake. That's a lucky bounce. That's really, because the Brahmas make so few mistakes, that's really one of the only ways you can score on them. Evano blasted into the zone. Hard around the boards. Moyes out of his net. Del Ponte securing it before it got to Moyes. Adamo will shoot off the glove. Rebound. Backhanded out of there by Orgel. A clutch situation there. Orgel rubbed out by Adamo, trying to get out of his own zone. Del Ponte puts the body up on the 6'6" Frenchman. Skinner with good hand-eye coordination. Bats that puck down out of midair. Shoots it into the zone. Short of the red line, but no icing because it took a deflection. Malishko is back for the Brahmas. Zimmerman's got it. Chips one up to Rupsov. Can he clear? No. Orgel finished him off. Loose puck in front of the net. Skinner trying to take a shot. Doesn't reach his wheelhouse. Del Ponte from the left point. Gives one down the board. Just picked off and cleared quickly. Again, 1 and out. Orgel in his own zone. Gives it up to Carballo, who deflects it high in the air. Ultimately out of play, so we get a whistle. Stopping play with 7 minutes remaining in the third. You can sense the concern starting to creep into the fan base here. The Wildcats must score at least once in the next 7 minutes to avoid elimination. Rosa chipped it back, hoping for Waring, who had left his post momentarily. Wyatt covers ground for him. Dangerous pass. Fortunately, it went off of Biondo, bounced right to Fees on the left wing side. He will try to center, broken up by Stoli, and punched behind the net. Loof jabs one past Cabinha. Cabinha gets it back. That's Burnett, rather. Rosa left corner. Loof working for it between Rosa and Burnett, managed to escape both of them, and Wyatt can't keep it in the zone, rather, from the left side point. In the midst of a Wildcats line change, the Brahmas have cleared it down the ice, and the Brahmas will get a line change underway themselves. Waring hit hard, but he got the puck off. Sipus right down the middle of the ice. Gives it up to Fees. Chipped it further to Rosa. They're calling that offside. And I don't know if that's the case, but Cats guilty of an offside zone entry. They're going to have to reset in the neutral zone. 6:10 to go in the third. 3-2 Lone Star. As it stands right now, the Brahmas' leading scorer, Carson Kelly, has the game-winning goal. Led the Brahmas in scoring all season long. Yet to make his Division I or Division III college commitment. We expect it to come soon. Seamus Donahue circles behind his own goal. Passes one up. Couldn't manage to get it past Stanley, but he had carried it across the blue line, so offside called against the Lone Star Brahmas. 5:54 to go in the third. And the Cats during the regular season, very good conversion rate when they pulled their goaltender. However, of late, it has not paid off very often. Granted, they've been all very big acts of desperation, trailing by 2 goals or more, just about every time they've pulled their goaltender recently. But during the regular season, the Cats have had a very strong conversion rate when pulling their goaltender for an extra attacker. Came through on more than half, but Donahue gives it away at center. Glover marches into the Wildcat zone. Good stick check by Walker. Ripley is crushed there. He's flattened by Jack Zielinski. Has to regather his bearings, pick up his stick again, and start it out. Sipus finds him on his off wing. He couldn't handle the pass. Molisco wheels his way out in front of his own net. Marabella with a cross-ice pass. Looping, settled down by Adamo. One-handed it too far out in front of his reach, and Moyes is able to cover it. 5:08 to go in the third. Cats still trailing 3-2. They outshoot the Brahmas 31-26, but have not led in this game since late in the first period. Just received word, folks, that Alexei Poikla is out with a lower body injury. The Wildcats' first goal scorer in this game, not available for the end of it. It's got to be difficult for the young man, Alexei Poikla, knowing this very well could be his last junior hockey game, having to sit out and watch from the seats as his team struggles to get back into this game. Molisco, left point, slap shot, just whistles wide. A goal here would virtually put the game out of reach, should the Brahmas put a dagger in the Wildcats' corpse. Del Ponte with a good spring pass ahead. He gets Orgel off and running down the left side. Skinner wheels one wider than that, bounces through the slot out towards the right side of the ice. Rupsov puts it back behind his goal. John Zimmerman to Marabella. Marabella up to Adamo. Adamo works it just past his own blue line. Wyatt Matthews picks it off, and we get a stoppage of play. Face off to return to the Lone Star zone as the linesmen signal. 4:16 to go in the third period, 3-2 Brahmas. This is where it all started, folks. Back on September 3rd. An 8.5-month-long journey that's taken us to where we are today. Back on September 3rd of 2016 in this rink. The first preseason game between the Wildcats and the Brahmas. Cats would blow a 1-0 lead, would lose that preseason game 2-1 against Lone Star. 8.5 months later, here we stand with the Cats facing elimination, hoping to stave it off for at least one more day against the team against whom they started it all this season. Nice check by Isaac Cabinha. Rosa down on his knees, finds a way to set up Cabinha. Drop back to Burnett, now to Cabinha, looking for it. Swats one down to the corner, Burnett is there. Up to the top, Wyatt Matthews couldn't collect it after it deflected off of Hunter Stanley, who chases it down in the near side corner. 3.5 to go. Cats still trailing by 1. Puck is deflected into Lone Star territory by Burnett, off the mesh and out of play. So the face-off will stay in the neutral zone. Sipus throws it into the Brahma zone. Bounces just wide of Prodzik. Ripley pinching on Kamer, trying to force the Brahmas forward to make a move. 6 players digging along the wall for it. It escapes Ripley's reach. And Kessel clears it up to Carballo, who holds it in the zone. Loof swats it along. Carballo's got it. Spins one up to the top. Cypus did well to keep it in the zone. Long shot. Didn't have much on it at all, and the Brahmas have cleared it. Cypus dishes it back to Seamus in his own zone. 3 minutes to go in period 3. Good touch pass from Walker to Carballo on the right side. Spins it back towards Cypus. Good poke check there by Biondo. And the Brahmas clear the zone once again. Cats have got to get some changes underway as the Brahmas reset in Lone Star territory. 2:40 to go in period 3. Lone Star leading 3-2. Cypus intercepting the pass. Here comes Skinner on a one-on-one. But Skinner coughed up possession of the puck. He's on the late offside now. If he touches it, the whistle will blow. He decides to double back, and play continues. Loof on the right side. Floats one high in the air. Biondo searching for it. It lands flat. Orgel's got it on his stick. Orgel starts the breakout. Nice pass on the tape for Skinner on the right wing side. Going wide on Zielinski. Motors away to the front of the net. It comes in front. Regula hacked it off the post, and it stays out. And the Brahmas will get this puck out of the zone. What a close call that was. Evan O slips it wide of Moyes, who will in all likelihood be leaving his net any moment here with 2 minutes remaining in regulation time. Puck went off of a Brahmas skate. Will Josh Nelson utilize his timeout? 1:57, the amount of time remaining on the clock. As the Wildcats look to prolong their series, their season, and their very existence just a little bit longer. Yes, Josh Nelson has used his timeout. Faceoff will be in the neutral zone, so Evan Moyes is going to stay in his net. When trailing by just a goal during the regular season, the Wildcats capitalized on empty nets 4 out of 7 times when they pulled their goaltender, when they were down by just a goal. Those are pretty good numbers. All things considered now, although they're going up against a red-hot goaltender and a very stingy defensive unit, they've absolutely got their backs against the wall now and need one in the next minute 57. I'm not sure how much was said in terms of the X's and O's on the bench by Josh Nelson, but I'm fairly certain that timeout was purely for inspirational purposes and not much else. Cats are fighting to stay alive. And force a 4th game tomorrow. 100 seconds remain. Kelly tries to chip it out. Good stick by Waring. Gets it down to Malisko, who flies one over a jumping Waring and down the ice. It's on net, so no icing. Moyes will touch it and give it to Seamus. The Brahmas send out their big guns. Donahue to Burnett. Touch pass to Rosa. Enters the zone. Moyes to the bench. Rosa with a shot. Stopped by the goaltender, Prodzic. Zimmerman exits the zone with an empty net on the other side of the ice. Hunter Stanley gets it. He's pressured by Seamus Donahue. Walker in digging for it as well. The Brahmas are content to just kill off what's left of this clock. 1:05 to go. The Brahmas leading 3-2. Puck is still being battled for in front of the Lone Star bench. Finally they move it. Donahue gives it over to Waring. Fans on the clearing attempt. Picked off by Malisko. Will he try for the empty net? He does. It's fluttering just wide. That should be icing against Lone Star, and it is. The Wildcats will get an offensive zone faceoff. Had that been on net, the game would have been over. But 51.3 seconds remain for the Wildcats to tie this one up. Dan Wildfong using his timeout, as we would have expected. A perfect time to use it. His team had just iced the puck. They had some tired bodies, and he wants to make sure everyone's on the same page for the most important moment of this series coming up next. We'll be right back. Carballo, Walker, Burnett, Donahue, Waring, and of course, Nick Rosa to take the ice for the most pivotal, decisive, and important moment of the Wildcats season. A face-off to the left of Matt's Prodzic. With their backs against the wall, facing elimination, the Cats must score in the next 46 seconds to keep their playoff hopes alive. Donahue slaps it to Waring. One-timer. They score! They score! The Wildcats have tied the game with 41.3 seconds to go! Ricky Carballo with goal number 2 on the night, and ladies and gentlemen, we have got ourselves a game. Jonathan Waring continuing his dominance. He and Seamus Donahue have been stalwarts on the blue line this evening. And Jonathan Waring has been an absolute stud in this playoff series, folks. Ripley gets crushed by Hunter Stanley, and the puck goes into the Brahmas bench. And boy, is this place alive and well right now. 23.5 seconds remain in period 3. Are we overtime bound? I'm not sure. If that's the case, I might need to take a Xanax or something. This is new for me, folks. I've never been in an overtime scenario with my team's back up against the wall. Neutral zone faceoff. Molisco's got it in his own zone with 20 seconds remaining in regulation. Zimmerman. Up to Stanley. Puck is picked off by Donahue, who safely flies one out of the Wildcat zone. Zimmerman back in his own end, 8 seconds remaining. Molisco will just circle back, and ladies and gentlemen, Game 3 of the South Division semifinals is headed to overtime. Could you have asked for anything different? No, sir. The Wildcats falling behind in this period, going down by 2. 3-1 the score in favor of the Lone Star Brahmas, and showing hearts of lions. They roared back, no pun intended. Back-to-back goals scored by Ricky Carballo, who led the team in scoring during the regular season. Carballo with just an offensive outburst of a campaign, scoring 46 points during the regular season, 20 of which were goals, has scored twice in the most critical of all of those games. One off of a deflected bounce in front of Prodzic in the slot, and the other off a point shot taken by Jonathan Waring. And Carballo, out of his 53 games as a Wildcat, this being by far the most important, has come up biggest when it's mattered. 3-3 your score, and we're headed to a full intermission. The way the playoffs overtime works, folks, if you're not aware, it's the same rules apply as the NHL level, rather. Full intermission, 20 minutes, and then when we come back, we have sudden death overtime. There's no shootout. So the next goal will win this game. If the Wildcats score next, there will be a Game 4 here tomorrow night, and the Cats' playoff hopes continue. If the Brahmas score next, well, they will sweep the Wichita Falls Wildcats and advance to the South Division Finals and eliminate the Wildcats from further contention. All that and hopefully more coming your way next.
Oh shit.
Hey, was that a Carvalho deflection or was that wearing straight in? No shit. Well, I miscalled the last 2 goals, so fucking bravo to me.
All right, folks, welcome back, everyone, and thanks so much for sticking with us. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a game you're going to want to stay with until the very end. It has had no shortage of drama, excitement, anticipation, you name it, everything that you could possibly want in an elimination game. Whether or not the Wildcats win or lose tonight, the fact that they rallied from behind, down by 2 goals with just 13 minutes left in their season to tie it and force overtime, just the fact that they did that will, in all likelihood, soften the blow at least a little bit should the Cats lose this game in overtime, just for the fact that it gave the fans one last thing to really go nuts about here at the KYC. For those of you who are on Twitter, go ahead and take a look at the NAHL's Playoff Overtime Challenge and predict your overtime winner in this game. Just hashtag your tweet NAHLOT Challenge and predict who will score the game-winning goal for both sides if you're feeling impartial. I'm not sure if they're giving out any kind of awards for the winners, but just to say that you called it would be something. Bragging rights at the very least, and some respect as well. Somebody who is on the ice down there will be an absolute hero. One bench will become elated, the other dejected. The Wildcats' very existence hangs in the balance. Overtime hockey in the playoffs, there's nothing better, and we're underway. Kessel's shot from the right half boards gets deflected out of play over the backboard glass. Ricky Carballo with both of the Wildcats' third period goals to tie this game. One off of a strange carom on the C.J. Walker centering pass, another on a point shot by Jonathan Waring, where he's been excellent in this series. And all season long, really. Carson Kelly versus Nick Rosa. The aces on both teams in the face-off department. Rosa able to scrappily win the draw. Burnett deflects the outlet pass from Dom Sipis. Into the right corner of the Brahmas zone. York concedes possession to Rosa, who's pinned up, but he manages to work it back towards the point. Wyatt Matthews long tip shot, save by Prodzik. Ryan Burnett was there, and as was Kevin Fees, neither of whom could power the deflection past Prodzik. Prodzik really hasn't been beaten cleanly on any shots. All of them, well, I suppose 2 of them were point blank. One of them was a pretty clean goal, the first one by Poikala, but it came off of a point shot which Prodzik had to stop. Ripley right off the faceoff. Ripped a shot that got blocked by Spellacy. Picked up by O'Rourke. He springs Spellacy. Could get a 2-on-1, but he was broken up. Good back check by C.J. Walker. Waring picks it up behind his own goal line. Don't expect a whole lot of penalties to be called, folks, on either side. The referee, Steve Saylor, will almost certainly keep the whistle in his pocket, as is the custom in playoff overtime hockey. Wyatt's got a turn. Waring up to Ripley. Slides one out to the neutral zone. Nearly intercepted by Zielinski. It just snuck past his stick. Zielinski drops it to Blake Evano. Evano on the right wing side with a long saucer pass too far for Adamo. This will go far enough for icing, but it's being waved off. It must have deflected. Marabella holds it in the zone. Puck bounces to Orgel, who slides it out to Skinner. Skinner up, safe play, too far for Regula. The Brahmas back in control in their own zone. Stoley off the D-to-D pass. Orgel shoves Rubtsov down to the ice. Regula picks it up, gives the puck across to Del Ponte. Chips it out towards Skinner. Bounces high in the air, it's blocked down by the Brahmas. Adamo pushes it very far into his path. He will gun it down in the left corner. Justin Adamo still with it on his stick at the goal line. Twisting and turning, centering, went off the paddle of Moyes, who had his stick down. Now it comes to Rubtsov. Brahmas fourth line going to work. Rubtsov up to the top, long point shot, doesn't get all the way through. Brahmas keeping the zone for now. It's picked off by Hanawal, who turns on the Jets. Hanawal down the right wing side will fire, save, rebound hacked away from Skinner, who would have had a gaping net. Beautiful play by David Marabella. Here comes Drake Glover in transition, enters the zone, drops it for Kessel. Left circle, back to Glover. Glover back to Kessel, he shoots, stopped by Moyes, hugging the short side post. What a save. Boy, excellent forecheck from David Marabella. Probably saved a goal, folks. At the other end, Matt Hanawal, sort of just a looping shot on net, but he forced Prodzik to make a save, which was the key in that whole play. Jeff Skinner nearly with a tap-in rebound goal. but not if David Marabella had anything to say about it, and he did. Rosa versus Glover now on the dot to Moyes' right. Rosa, the unquestioned face-off leader for the Wildcats, gets another one. But Kessel holds it in the zone. Turnaround shot by Glover, deflects just wide by Kamer. Puck is chopped in around behind the net. Glover digging for it, rather Kessel is. Glover goes in there as well. Sipus spins it around away from the mix, out to the right point. It's Malisko, chipping one back off the glass. Glover will be first to it, given no space by Sipus. Glover wheels to the outside and looks, takes his time, tries to go back door for Kamer. Gets blocked by Wildcat skate. Gets through Cabinha. Glover down the left wing side. In around the goal line now. Weaves his way to the outside with Sipus defending him. Rosa will pick it up with a little bit of time, and he manages to clear. Up to Burnett. Burnett one-on-one against Malisko. Will fire from a severe angle. Misfired. Blocker side of Prozic. Wyatt Matthews back in his own zone. Rolls it around the end boards. Waring's got it. Sliding puck too far for Cabinha. Intercepted by the Brahmas in their own zone. Zimmerman up to Stanley on the right wing. Floats one into Wildcats territory. In the near side corner, it's Waring. A few minutes into overtime, 3-3 your score. Stanley intercepting the clearing attempt out at the neutral zone. Waring's got to make a smart play here, but he's iced it. Can the Wildcats outrace the opposition? They do. Carballo won the foot race, and icing has been nullified. Good hustle by Carballo. Ripley puts it into the corner. Brahmas chip it off the glass, not out. Del Ponte kept it with his stick. He's knocked off the puck. The Brahmas get a 2-on-1 to win the game. Spelcy down the right wing side. Spelcy will shoot, stopped by Evan Moyes. What a save by Evan Moyes. He knew he couldn't give out too much of a rebound. He had to make that chest save without letting any sort of garbage lay around his crease. There were two Brahmas breaking on his net, crashing the goal. Evan Moyes continues to give the Wildcats a chance to win this game. Prozic very much doing the same thing on the other side. Face-off win by the Brahmas in the offensive zone. Stoley will set up shop. He whistles one wide of the net, sticked out of there by Evan Moyes. Skinner hacks one off the glass. It stays somehow in the zone, takes a strange, crazy bounce, but the Wildcats manage to recover and clear it. Loof to Stoley. Stoley passes one past Skinner, deflected by Rupsoff. Did he get a piece of it? Yes, he did, so no icing. Orgel reverses one behind his own net. Del Ponte up to Skinner on the left side. Hoists one out of the zone. Hannawal pursuing it. Del Ponte. Orgel flies one wide of the net of Prozic. Skinner finishes his check on Adamo. Regula with a good hit as well. Seamus blasts one in behind Prozic's net. He was out of his goal to get it, but it hobbled over his stick. Loof to Stoley. Stoley managed to work one out to Marabella, who gave it away to Donahue in the neutral zone. Donahue rims one around the end wall. Cats begin the forecheck. Loof goes behind his own net with it. Fees is on the other side to pressure Troy York. Puck squeaks past Nick Rosa, taken by Loof behind his own net once again. Loof manages to wedge his way along the boards, but the puck escaped him, and it's slung back into Brahmas territory. 5 minutes into overtime, 3-3 your score. Stoley will start the breakout for the Brahmas with a lot of time. Passes one out to the left side. It's Stanley, whose pass broken up by Ripley. Nice interception. On the counterattack, it's Carballo, who could get a hat trick with the game-winning overtime goal. Walker pinned up by York. Carballo will cycle one back to the point. It's Wyatt Matthews, just chipped it to keep it alive for a few more seconds, or he would have been knocked off of it by Stanley, who goes tumbling down and loses the puck in the process. Puck is chipped out to Zimmerman in the neutral zone. Gives it over to Kessel at the blue line. Kessel trying to sneak his way past Carballo, who reached out his stick and jabbed it away. The Wildcats fighting for their playoff lives right now. Must score the next goal or they're eliminated. It's taken by Kessel. We get a whistle and a stoppage. I believe the Brahmas entered that zone a little bit too early. Offside called against the visitors. 14:15 to go in overtime, and sudden death in the first period of overtime. If that amount of time expires without a goal being scored, then we'll just repeat the process until there is a goal. The longest game in Wildcats history went to double overtime last year in Topeka. Game 3, another game 3, though that one was on the road. It was won by Andre Paisan late in the second overtime to give the Wildcats their first ever berth in the Robertson Cup semifinals in Edina, Minnesota. Kareem Del Ponte blasts one around the near half wall. Spellacy coughs it up. Back to O'Rourke, left point, slings a shot. And it deflects over top of the net. Moyes very deep in his goal. It's swung back towards the point by Biondo. Zielinski with a long wrist shot, stopped by Evan Moyes. What a save again. I want to be honest with you folks, just about every time the Brahmas get a shot on net, my heart stops for a split second. As is just about everyone here in this building, I'd imagine. They are not ready for this to be over. Nick Rosa versus Carson Kelly. Face off to the right of Moyes. Orgel slaps one around the corner glass. Out to center. Broken up by Cabinia. Beautiful pass. Burnett's got a little bit of room on the left side. He pivots. Stoley's right next to him. Burnett will fire one just wide of the short side post. Orgel's shot blocked by Troy York, and the puck pinballs out of play, or out to center, I should say. Del Ponte clears it back into the Brahmas zone. Loof behind his net. Strange play. Rosa tried to capitalize off of that weird bounce, but Prozik had gotten back into his net to make the save. Austin Kamer trying to jolt his way past Rosa, who closed him off emphatically along the sideboards before he could enter the zone. Cyprus's pass, hoping to get it to Cabinia. Taken by Loof in his own end. Simon Loof carries it back to his own zone, passes one out to York, who tips it into Wildcats territory. Seamus Donahue is first to it. Up to Burnett. Slapped it to Rosa, or Walker rather. Walker dealing his way through center, has his stick slashed clean out of his hands. Nothing will be called. Donahue flips one high in the air back into the Brahmas zone. Loof's got it there behind his own goal line. Simon Loof stops. Switches places with Stoley and then gives it to him. Alex Stoley with a little bit of space works his way out in front of his own goal and dishes it off to the left wing side. Julian Biondo's got it. He's dangerous. He will wire one. Not sure if that deflected, but it went well high and out of play. So we get a whistle and a stoppage with 12:24 remaining in this first overtime period. 3-3 your score. Third period goals to get us to where we are. Scored first by Carson Kelly on a 2-on-1 shorthanded break, which all started because of a missed call at the other end, which Kelly tripped Ryan Burnett to give himself that 2-on-1. And then the Wildcats showed absolutely hearts of lions to score twice in just 12 minutes and change to force overtime. Ricky Carballo doing the honors both times. First on a caromed pass, a broken play, and then again on a setup play off a face-off in which Donahue fed Jonathan Waring in the deep slot for a one-timer that was tipped past Prozik by Carballo. Molisco from Arabella, who flips it into the Wildcat zone. Rupsov hugging the boards. Molisco holds it in the zone. He walks the blue line, feathers one over there. Regula will be first to it. Brahmas playing a little bit more conservatively than normal. Their other defenseman, John Zimmerman, was out to the neutral zone before the play by Molisco was even made. Waring's pass missed everything but no icing because Zimmerman could have played it. Zimmerman gets it up to Marabella, who fakes on the clear. Will take it himself now. With the puck on his stick, Marabella up through center. The Brahmas veteran toe drags through one check, but he loses the puck. Then he rolls one around the boards. Rupsov is there in the far corner, trying to elude Wyatt Matthews. Pivots with it. Rupsov, one-timer, blocked. Puck deflects into the slot. It's Molisco going wide into the left circle, looking for a way to get a shot on net. Can't do it. Regula steals it and clears it. The Wildcats will get a chance to make at least a few changes, and the Brahmas look to commence a counterattack quickly here. Look out in front of the net, a chance. Moyes is down, and the puck goes in behind the net. Biondo couldn't get away to find a way to get that shot off of his stick. My goodness. Puck was too far into his path, it looked like. Skinner now the other way, drags his way past one, shoots, save, and the rebound pops loose out to the deep slot, stays in the zone. Rosa's got it, drops it to the point man. Orgel across, one-timer, breaks the stick of Del Ponte. Evano's got it. Boy, Del Ponte really trying to be the hero with that shot. He's got to go to the bench and get a new piece of lumber, but not before cursing his old piece of lumber. Now it's Fees, letting it go past him. Seamus has it in his own zone. Just about halfway through this first period of overtime here at the KYC. Fees with a knuckler on net, blocked away by Prozik. Kelly hauled down to the ice by Carballo's check. Stanley going 1-on-4, chips it between the two Wildcats defensemen. Moyes is out of his net. He will rim one hard around the boards out to the far side. Bounces over the stick of Ripley and out to the neutral zone. Stoley's got it there. With Loof back, Stoley just lobs one over the stick of the forechecking Wildcat. It's Stanley entering the zone. Drops it. Here's York moving in down the right side. York with a shot, stopped by Moyes. He is down. The rebound taken by Orgel. Orgel slams one off the glass. Will this go far enough? I believe so. Yes, the Wildcats have just iced the puck. We're halfway through this first overtime period, and a big face-off will take place now in the Wildcat zone. The next goal will win this game. If the Wildcats score it, there will be a Game 4 tomorrow night right here at the KYC. If the Brahmas score it, the Wildcats' season is over. The face-off will be to the left of Moyes. C.J. Walker will take it for the Cats. Pete Kessel for the Brahmas. Both of whom have scored in this series. Face-off win by Walker, but all the Wildcats still searching for it. Kessel's going to go first to it, into the corner. Donahue working it away from him, but right to Glover. Now it's set up for Malishko. Right point, long knuckler. Gets blocked in front of the net. Kessel will turn and shoot off the post, and it deflects out of play. My goodness. Faceoff will stay in the Wildcats zone because it went off the post and not one of the Brahmas. CJ Regula loses the faceoff. Marabella walked him. Waring will rim it around hard, but it stays in the zone courtesy of Rupsov. Turning with it, given back to the right point, it's Evano. Back in behind the net, Rupsov crunched up by Waring. Around to the near side, half boards. Marabella stymied by Wyatt Matthews, who steals it from him and carries behind his own goal. Wyatt sets up Hannawall. Slap pass right up the middle. Skinner turns on the Jets, going wide on Evano. Skinner falls down, loses an edge, and loses the puck. Regula puts the body up on Rupsov. Hannawall ends up with it. He backhands a shot, stopped by Prodzik. Picked up by Regula in the far corner. He's shoved by Rupsov. Regula works one up the half boards for Hannawall. Taken away by him by Marabella. Now it's Wyatt Matthews in the neutral zone. Adamo was offside when he entered the zone, or perhaps the puck went off of a Brahma on the bench. Not sure, but we get a whistle and a stoppage of play. Not sure if they're still going to do media timeouts. I would think so. We've got 9:03 to go in this fourth period, which we haven't said yet this season. Might as well just call them quarters. Unless there's a fifth, of course. Neutral zone face-off in front of the Brahmas bench, won by Nick Rosa cleanly. Del Ponte over to Orgel, who sky hooks one into the neutral zone. Stoley gloves it down and blasts it back in. Spellisy chips one down towards Biondo. Biondo is checked by Ryan Orgel. Spellisy. Spellisy with one hand on his stick, protecting the puck beautifully, cycling it to Biondo. In close, the puck is knocked out to the right point. Stoley will tee it up and fire. Just missed the net. Out to the left point, it's Loof. He's going to hold it in the zone. Rolls one out towards O'Rourke and behind the Wildcats net. O'Rourke using that size of his to protect it from Del Ponte. Puts it in front. A shot turned on net, stopped by Moyes, picked up by Stanley. Stanley looking for his options, surveying. Stanley holds on to it, showing poise. Wheels to the outside, now circles his way behind the net. Hunter Stanley still searching. Out to the top, it's Loof. Wrist shot deflected. They score! And the Wildcats' 2016-17 season has come to an end in heartbreaking fashion. The Lone Star Brahmas will face the Corpus Christi Ice Rays in the South Division Finals. And Evan Moyes still has his head down on the ice. Heartbreaking, absolutely, for it to end this way. But at the very least, Wildcats fans and players can take solace in the fact that the Wildcats went out with one heck of a bang. An absolutely exciting and thrilling game all the way till the end. Wrist shot from the point that got deflected, it looked like, between the pads of Evan Moyes, and the Brahmas have advanced and have swept the Wildcats 3 games to none. Well, folks, I've spent all season long virtually ignoring the big elephant in the room. I regret to tell you that the rumors are true. Wildcats ownership has not re-upped for next season, and barring a miracle at this point from happening, well, at some point in the very, very near future, there will not be a hockey team in Wichita Falls next season. Roy DeVault came into the office this morning, had a good long talk with Debbie Fleetwood and myself, asked how we were doing, asked if we had anything lined up. Debbie, of course, working soon to be working full-time over at Castaway Cove. I myself have not got anything lined up just yet. Take some time to find something, but he was a real gentleman about it. He wanted to make sure that we were going to be okay. He wanted to come by and see if we needed anything from him. We're going to begin cleaning the office out here shortly. And folks, I can't begin to thank the fans who've been around this team for 13 unbelievable years of the support they've given this organization. Our off-ice officials, our booster club, our players and their families, our owners, Roy DeVault and Alex Schneiderman, our sales director, Debbie Fleetwood, our trainer, Brian Deathridge, our equipment manager, Case Carter, our photographers, Tracy Kobe and Troy Young, and most importantly, our fans. Folks, organizations like this don't function without those things. None of this would have been possible without them, so a personal and heartfelt stick tap extended their way. Well, as the old saying goes, all good things come to an end, but what it doesn't mention is just how much these memories of those good things stick with you. How much of those who are privileged to be a part will carry with them for the rest of their lives, as though they were etched onto their very souls. 2 years of working here, folks, I can honestly, sincerely say I will keep these memories with me for the rest of my life. And in the spirit of solace and comforting, all I can offer to you in return is that you can say the same thing. A heartbreaking end to a very promising and raucous up and down season, full of so many ups and downs, of late mostly downs. But you've got to credit the Wildcats and their fans for not letting that keep them down in spite of it. So many fans still here witnessing what could be the last ever salute in this building. Classy gesture by both the fans and the players. In the last 20 minutes or so, folks, last 20 minutes to a half hour, I'd say, when Carballo, from the time Carballo tied the game up till right now, this very moment, in a nutshell, is why I love this game. This right here is what it's all about. One last salute, going both ways, from the players to the fans, from the fans to the players. To those of you listening, I'd like to extend a personal thank you and a bit of news that I think you might be interested in. The Wildcats organization as a whole led the entire NAHL in broadcast revenue. You folks, those of you who tuned in all season long to enjoy Wildcats hockey on Hockey TV are to thank for that. Over $10,000 were raised for the Wildcats because of your support, and I can't begin to thank you enough how much that means to me personally. I take that as a huge compliment. I know it's not just to myself, but it's something that I take a lot of pride in, the fact that we had more viewership on Hockey TV than any other team in the NAHL. And to those of you who are part of it, I'd like to express my personal thanks. And now, for one last time, the players and coaches get into a huddle over the Wildcats logo and give thanks one last time. And now some round of applause and some stick tapping to take place after the fact. Josh Nelson, one of the class acts in the industry. He's going to land on his feet, folks, I'll tell you that much. I know for a fact he's already got some offers. And he will be just fine. Now Charles Campbell giving a tribute to the fans who have stayed with us till the very end. And when I say the very end, I mean it in the purest sense of the word.
Forward of the Wildcats. As of right now, definitely has 2 points. No doubt about that. There's two.
And what a beautiful little eulogy there by Charles Campbell. Another tremendous one of our supporters. This place would simply not function as well without him. Has been here since the very, very beginning. Since this team was called the Wichita Falls Rustlers. Before the invention of Twitter. He's been here through the thick and thin. Knows most of the folks who have stuck around here. And he is personally thanking them right now. Those few diehards who are left to witness history. So I know you can't see this on Hockey TV. Zach just kind of had to get out of here in a hurry, left the camera off to the left, but all the players are lined up. Bear with me real quick, folks. I'm going to run down there and move the camera over so you can see what's going on. Bear with me for just a second.
In Wichita Falls, Texas. Brahmas 4, Wildcats 3 in overtime. Your final score in Game 3 sweep. Good night.
I got a little capsule at the end there.
So Charles Campbell not just thanking the fans, but thanking the players, to which you just heard that big round of applause. Giving a bit of a tribute to them and their character. How much of a pleasure it was to be around those young men, folks, all season long. Very, very fortunate to be a part of that for myself. Really my first job after graduating college. Had the privilege both seasons to be around such good young men who've had so much character and have overcome such a great amount of adversity right from the get-go all season long. It has not been an easy ride for the Wildcats, folks. There's no denying that. And now Josh Nelson, Debbie Fleetwood heading out there as well. Debbie fighting off a few tears as expected. From the change in leadership, the change in coaching, the rumors that have been around all season long about the team not coming back, so many things they've had to fight through, dealing with the fact that both owners were really all season long knew that there probably wouldn't be a team next year. And with that in the back of their minds, it's difficult to stay focused on the task at hand. Now Charles Campbell finally giving a long-anticipated thank you to Roy DeVault, who, were it not for him, folks, this organization would have waved goodbye to this town long ago. He is the reason that hockey has stayed in Wichita Falls for as long as it has, and Charles Campbell making note of that, appropriately so, the fans applauding that gesture as well. Fans thanking Charles now as well. We've got to do that, absolutely. 100%. Good long round of applause for all his hard work over the last 13 years. Folks, for those of you who are listening on the air, I try to do the best job that I possibly can to convey what's happening here so that you can, if you're listening on YouTube, you can't see it, so I'm trying to paint the picture for you as best as I can. It will not come anywhere close in a million years to doing it justice. The thrills, the chills, the jitters of just being in this building right now. It is just absolutely heartwarming. I've only been a part of this franchise for less than 2 years, and it's shaken me to my core, absolutely. Debbie Fleetwood has been here for 4 years, and she was absolutely fighting off tears as she walked out to embrace the players who have battled so hard tonight for her and for so many others. I can't even imagine what it must be like for you fans who have supported us since the beginning. So to you, my personal thanks on behalf of the Wichita Falls Wildcats for your unparalleled and continued support. The Wildcats battled, they fought, they clawed their way back from down 2 goals, showed the hearts of lions, like we've said so many times, to roar back, force overtime, give the fans one last absolute thrill to go nuts about. Unfortunately, they couldn't do it one more time in overtime. I don't even know what that would have been like here. But a season which saw so much adversity, so much trouble, so many things go wrong for the Wildcats, who battled till the very end. Nobody was giving them a chance in this series, folks. Nobody. Aside from a very select few. Those people who believed until the very end. Those are the people who were in the Wildcats' minds tonight. Those are the people they played for. Those were the people in their hearts. And those were the people who they will remember as they take what they can from their season here and move on. Alex Von Keutel for the very last time, saying thank you so much for joining us, everyone. It's been an honor to cover these games for you, and it would have been nowhere near as fun had you not tuned in. So from the bottom of my heart and on behalf of the Wildcats, thank you so much. As you go about your summer, I ask that you take these memories with you, not just for the summer, but for the rest of your lives. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. And have a great summer.